flashing all that gold. Thought the story would never get old. Private jets and designer shoes. Now it's breaking evening news. Selling dreams from stage to stage. Writing promises on every page. Everybody bought the fantasy. Now the truth's on national TV. Ooh, hear those sirens calling. Every diamond know it's falling. Thought the music would never stop. Now the beat goes knock, knock, knock. Every time that courtroom door swings wide, I hear blue lights flashing in my mind. Thought you wrote yourself a masterpiece. Now you're reading guilty pleas. Yeah, the gavel goes bang. Hear the courtroom sing. Yeah, the handcuffs go clink. Makes the whole room think. Ooh, that's the sound they bring. Crypto wallets leave a trail. Blockchains always tell the tale. Every transfer, every coin. Now investigators join. Funny how the heroes hide when the paperwork arrives. Funny how the loudest crowd suddenly ain't talking loud. Ooh, hear those whispers growing. Everybody's nervous knowing what confessions start to change. Now they're wondering whose name. Every time that courtroom door swings wide, I hear blue lights flashing in my mind. Built an empire on borrowed time. Now you're running out of time. Yeah, the gavel goes bang. Hear the courtroom sing. Yeah, the headlines roll. Taking quite a toll. Ooh, who's the next to fold? No more penthouse celebrations, only legal conversations. No more selfies, no champagne, just another prison train. If the phone stop ringing now, who'll explain the why and how? Every promise has a cost. Every shortcut ends up lost. Hey Christopher, remember all those standing ovations? Now it's all right. Every time that the truth comes out, you can hear the whole room shouting loud. Justice doesn't care about the crowd. Every blockchain sings out loud. Yeah, the gavel goes bang. Hear the echoes ring. Yeah, the truth rolls on. Long after you're gone, the wallets don't forget.
We are promoting the Goliath Ventures Memoirs, which is a book that I've published. It is 178 pages large. If you go to the book, you will find that we've actually put a lot of additional information. We've put the timeline of events in there. And also we've actually put the name of co-conspirators and literally all the transcripts that you will find. So persons of interest that the original videos had that Channel 9 News dropped out, we actually grabbed all the transcripts, went through, found all the people's names, and we've put a section in here. The most important section is the people mentioned in the book. People mentioned, individuals, and we'll go through those. We've got Christopher, Darlene, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but you can read the screen, Jay Newton, and these were advisors that Christopher was saying he was providing consulting to, but I think it would be more likely they would provide consulting to him. And if you haven't been keeping up with current events, Christopher is actually, when you go through these transcripts, he was actually playing the crypto game with investing in Ponzi schemes and then white labeling the service. He said he did it for about a year successfully, just like Goliath Ventures went for 2 or 3 years. He now admits that my Liquidity Partners is where he was putting his money initially for about a year, and then he decided to create his own fund and white labeled other people that were offering high yield investments. So as I said all the way along, that Christopher never actually had a product of his own. He was literally white labeling other people's Ponzi schemes and then hoping that they were true and genuine. So technically speaking, Christopher is a victim of a Ponzi scheme. So he should have listened to me. I weren't publishing stuff about my liquidity partners back then. He also makes claims that he had done quite well in other ventures. Well, we did hear from CoffeeZilla video that he was asking traders to main for $1 million that went AWOL on another scam that fell over. So Christopher is just a crypto guy that's made a bit of money out of crypto and then decided to invest it in a whole lot of Ponzi schemes and then create his own Ponzi scheme. And this is how he's got to where he is today. But he said he got some wind in his sails. Jayton Newton and Nick Petrillo, his business partners. Now, we just had a discussion with my Avengers because if we look at the documents of the business that he did have set up, Gen Ventures and Goliath Ventures, Christopher doesn't have anyone else as director, just his own name from my knowledge. And I was sort of saying in these videos that we're about to look at, he actually talks about his business partners. So you don't have to have a written agreement to be a business partner. Anyone can be your business partner. So technically speaking, I could be his business partner. It's just a terminology, but not a legal entity or someone who has direction or, as the like. So I just sort of thought that was interesting because I was listening to that. But we do know there's a lot of people involved. So we've gone through everyone mentioned in the original videos. Now, why am I saying original videos? Well, we've still got co-conspirators. So why is Danny DeHeck and the Avengers going after the co-conspirators? Why are we interested in the names, the individuals, the companies behind this? Because we believe that they still are trading with proceeds that they got from Goliath Ventures. So if these guys are driving around in sports cars, Steve Davis, we saw him at a sport car event a wee while ago, showing off his yellow McLaren. This guy doesn't have a brass razoo to his name, and all of a sudden he's driving around in a McLaren. I believe that all that money has come from Goliath Ventures. Same with Tomo. He had to sell his showcase Aston Martin. We don't know why he's done that, but he's been putting more money into Aspiring Rejuvenational Centre than he's actually been bringing in the front door, going by former employees who know this stuff, even though Mummy looks after the books. And also Tomo's brother has also introduced a $400,000 investor. We're going to learn some really interesting facts, but things that you may not know behind the scene. Nick Petrillo brought in 900 people for Goliath, and going by what Chris says today, it sounds pretty true. Christine Turner is actually Christopher's sister, and she was the administrator, and a lot of people corresponded with her. Now, Jay Newton was a Canadian recruiter and promoter of Goliath Ventures, and also an owner of a company called 21 Ventures, V1, 21V they called it, and the former president of 21 Ventures. So you go back here. So what we're going to be doing as time goes on, if you purchase this book, you're entitled to a lifetime update of the book as it evolves. We're also hoping this is going to be a transcript for something more exciting coming down the track. So we're trying to document everything we have researched into a book. So if you want to get that book, you can come along to deheck.com, or you can go to a link in the video that you're watching right now. And by all means, if you go to the website, you'll see that I actually have a link dedicated at the moment to Goliath Ventures. And when you click on Goliath Ventures, we have a complete breakdown of September the 3rd is when we started researching Goliath Ventures. And obviously you can click on this and grab that book, and that will help support what we do. So the Avengers, we talk about CoffeeZilla. CoffeeZilla's video is currently at 4.2 million views in about 7 weeks. I also received a lot of support and donations from his community. He is a true journalist, and I thoroughly recommend that you watch that video if you haven't done so already. It made me cry. It's absolutely incredible, but it's what I believe real true journalism is actually all about. And then come down here, you can actually see that my trip to America that I had when I went through to America, and I went to actually visit the buildings where I stayed. I even videoed, went outside and went to the fire stations, and I even went to Goliath Ventures building, went in there, even went to see a dolphin, which I really did enjoy. And then there I couldn't say a lot of things. So this was me in the airport just leaving Florida to go to Texas where CoffeeZilla is. And then we even met up with Richard, and we even got involved in a car chase. So if you haven't watched that video of my travels to Florida, as you can see right here, right now, there's actually a policeman in the back here, and he's talking to a guy in a car who's just pulled a gun on him. So the next minute, the policeman pulls his gun on, and I've only been in America for just over an hour, and the next minute we see a gun pulled and a car chase. And then we found these guys 30 k's down the road, the police officers, I should say, and we bumped into them in the cafe and introduced myself, and they wanted the footage of the car chase that we had. So we had a lot of fun while I was in America, and I do hope to go back. I have had an offer of flights, somebody paying for my flights to go to the sentencing, which I think is very generous. But if you want to support me in what I do, I would like to be there while Christopher gets sentenced. But more importantly, ladies and gentlemen, here is all the videos and the blogs and videos that we've done in this investigation. And if you go way back to the beginning of all these blogs, we've covered every update known to man. And we started investigating this on the 1st of September, and we published our first content ever since. So there's a lot more in this investigation unraveling, and I do think that we're just at the beginning. So what happened last night? Well, Channel 9 News decided to put back the videos that they took off the internet the other day. They made this amazing statement claiming that they were ethical, and they thought it wasn't fit to use people's names in these videos when no one else has been charged in connection to Goliath Ventures' $328 million Ponzi scheme and scam. So it's kind of ironic. So video number 1 is exactly the same length. Video number 2 is exactly the same length. But when we get to video number 3...
New donation from Please Come Back Dory Mercado.
Oh, thank you very much. It's very kind. Really appreciate it. And I do really endeavour to do it. It's a lot of money for me to travel there, and the accommodation, the transport is just a killer. So I can travel to America under radar, under the radar to a certain degree. Another thing that's happening about a month before is I'm actually been invited to go to a big conference, all expenses paid, which is really, really nice. And I haven't had those dates confirmed. So I'm hoping that we might possibly have an opportunity to stay there for more than 3 weeks and merge the both into 2. So I might be able to keep my expenses down. That's what I'm sort of insinuating there. Anyway, so these videos went off. We got a letter, not a letter, we got no letters. We have got a video from Darlene Jones explaining that she's done the ethical thing and removed people's names, removed all the videos after leaving the people's names. 2 days later, they all got ripped off the internet, and now they've all gone back onto the internet.
New donation from Dory.
Oh, thank
Mercado.
you, Dory. Mercado. I can't pronounce his last names. I really do appreciate it, though. So, long story short, I thought it would be fitting, rather than playing the video that she's put at the start of the original videos we've got, we are going to download the transcripts from day 3. So if we just doing this now,
By reporter.
so day 3 video is now 21 seconds long. And if I go to my version of the video, so let's have a look at documents. Just while we're doing this live, never do things live, trust me, never works out really good for anybody. So that was video number, part 3 video. And if we go to here, part 3 video. So my version of part 3 video is 1 hour 15 seconds. So they have actually chopped that video in half. And I would be interested to know what parts are removed, or like, so Christopher there for 31 minutes is sitting at the in the table, and yeah, so he sat there at the table. So that table.
New donation from Nick Petrillo.
Fun.
Thanks, Nick.
That a lot of people were invested.
Yeah, so I'm just quickly going to actually, well, I won't actually, but what we've got is we've got one video where Christopher's sitting at this table here, spilling his beans about the whole company and the whole 9 yards. And that now is only 31 minutes long. So we have the original uploaded video, which is over 1 hour and 21 seconds long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to descript this video, and I'm going to put the 2 transcripts together, and then I'm going to ask AI to give us all the information that's been removed. So I need a little bit of time to do that, so we won't be doing that today. And we're not discussing video number 3. We're discussing video number 3, which is very cool. But anyway, what I'd like to do first is go straight into the video that we've got here. And this is the video that she put out after they had removed all the videos from the internet. And I still can't really figure out why this, but it's a wee bit long, and I'm going to play this, and we're just going to, I'll be back in a few seconds. All right, so here we go.
I'm Channel 9 anchor and investigative reporter Darlene Jones. Some of you have followed my extensive reporting, Falls, which focuses on my exclusive interviews with Christopher Delgado, the former CEO of Goliath Ventures. When federal investigators filed a federal criminal complaint against Christopher Delgado and he self-surrendered, in the weeks following that, I received a message from someone who claimed to be Christopher Delgado. Initially, I didn't take it seriously because I thought there is no way the person facing a federal criminal complaint would be reaching out to me. However, the person followed up with a phone number. When I felt comfortable enough that it was Christopher Delgado, I set up a series of meetings with him. We met over time inside of his Isleworth home in Windermere. That set off a series of conversations in person with Mr. Delgado. And he started telling me about who he was and why he returned here to the U.S. and ultimately back here to Central Florida to self-surrender. During the meetings, I suspect we were both probably trying to take time to assess one another, him deciding if he wanted to go through with this on-camera interview with me, sharing his story, and me trying to figure out how to proceed with this interview if he were to follow up with going on camera. For me, that meant getting to know Christopher Delgado, learning his background, where he's from, the inner workings of who he was and his history, how this man built the company we now know as Goliath Ventures, who he was connected with. And really one of my biggest questions throughout all of this earlier on was, how was Christopher Delgado able to penetrate some of the most exclusive communities and most exclusive people, well-known people, not only here in Central Florida, but truly across the globe? There were no terms of this interview. He didn't ask me, and I didn't bring it up. What I did ask was for him to remain honest throughout this process. So when Christopher Delgado decided that he was ready to go on camera, there were no questions that were off limits. What you'll see in the conversations through these videos that had occurred over hours during each day we met with him inside of his home is a conversation. The tone of what you're seeing is a conversation, and the tone was important for me because it helped keep him talking over the series of days and the hours that we sat with him. The idea was to get answers for the victims in all of this. And you'll see some of that took time. You'll notice that some questions I asked him more than once, and sometimes I ask him the same questions on a different day. You'll see that in the beginning, a lot of the time was spent trying to get to know his background. It was helpful for me over time as I tried to understand some of the why in all of this and the answers he provided. I was not aggressive. That was intentional. And that's because if he was not truthful in any of this at any point, that was for the public to decide. And ultimately, you'll see that over time, when he comes to terms with admitting to what he ultimately pled guilty to, which is fraud and money laundering charges, he does so not only during our time with him, but ultimately he tells us that he's sharing with us exactly what he told the federal government. Quite a bit of our time with Christopher Delgado was Christopher Delgado discussing the players within Goliath Ventures and how the company was formed and how it was built. The portion of the interview that we are posting on YouTube will not include the names of the people who Delgado levies allegations against. It is important for you all to know that in journalism, we are held to higher standards than bloggers and social media enthusiasts and those who post what is news content on their social media platforms. We can be sued if we allow someone to levy an allegation against someone without legal documentation to support that those allegations are indeed being investigated. And while I've been in contact with the attorneys representing some of the people who Delgado has levied allegations against, none of them have been charged with a crime as of yet. The list of those people include those who worked within Goliath Ventures and some very high-profile people here in our local community. Again, you won't hear their names in these videos that we are posting if there are direct allegations that are stated against them. But you should know that our entire raw interview, unedited, has been provided to the feds as part of their ongoing investigation into what they are calling co-conspirators in all of this. And Delgado, as we have previously reported, is also continuing to cooperate with investigators as part of those investigations. In our reporting, Delgado eventually admits to this Ponzi scheme. And while it took him some time to flat out admit how the money was used, the money invested over all of these years of time, money that was poured into Goliath Ventures under the guise that these people poured their money into Goliath Ventures under the guise that they were investing into a cryptocurrency investment fund. And while it takes Christopher Delgado some time to eventually admit to all of this, it should be noted that in the days after our initial report, that first report aired, where we showed you all his home in the Iowaworth community, a fancy car that he was still in possession of, just in the days after that is when we received the subpoena from the feds. But that's also when the federal government moved forward very quickly with the process of seizing those assets, all of his assets as part of this. We do believe that our reporting helped move the needle. And because of that, this process is moving much faster than it might have otherwise to try to work to restore the victims in all of this. We decided to release the interviews that you will see because we felt that if we were turning over material to the federal government, then the public had a right to see it too. And our attorneys made it clear to me and to our managers here at WFTV from the moment we received the federal subpoena in the days after our initial reporting that we really had no room to fight a federal subpoena and demand. And our attorneys made it very clear that we really had no room to fight a federal subpoena, which demanded a copy of our work on this story.
So at the start, it's pretty boring. I can tell you now that Christopher's just trying to get the gardener organised and he can't figure out why everybody just keeps turning up in his property, especially when he lives in one of the most secure neighbourhoods in Florida. And he even tells Darlene that he can't even take a shit without people interrupting him.
They didn't even take a mugshot. They took photos, but
Can
it's
you
for
hear that
my
now?
file. It's not a mugshot. I sat with this guy. He asked me a bunch of questions. You know, age, weight.
So he says he was never arrested. He basically went and handed himself in, and they just ask him a whole lot of basic questions. And next minute, they're asking him how many houses he owns and what is how much debt he has. It's quite funny.
Oh,
You
like
know,
doctor's office
yeah.
stuff.
Financial, how much debt do you have? How much is, you know, that kind of stuff. How many houses? And then he's like, how many, I was like, who's in my backyard?
Now, just a funny coincidence there. We actually had Avengers taking photos of a film crew outside the backyard of Chris's house at one stage. And I even contacted the film crew and said, is that you guys? I just said, we're all been all over this from the beginning. It's just quite funny. I just sort of chucked that one in there, but I don't think it was the same date as this, but it was at the same period. It was basically a days either side of this.
Somebody back. Oh, yeah, there is somebody back there.
You know who it is?
No.
Oh, you need to log in. I don't know how to log in here. 1 second, please, people.
Just got to go and say, yes, it's me.
Yep.
Oh, it's like a yard guy.
Oh, not a yard guy.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Live in a multi-million-dollar house, and you've got a guard guy interrupting you during the day.
Duh. That's not good.
And we're just going to have a little bit of fun while that's happening. I'll just show you Christopher's actual mugshot.
Why are there always people coming here?
Oh, good on you. I want you to hear
You tell
everything.
me that.
Because you can hear the
Wait.
candidness of the conversation.
There's
Oh
always,
my God.
Oh my
there's never a day of
Were
just,
they landscapers?
No, they're installing fiber optic in the
Oh, it's
community.
the fiber optics people
Yeah,
again. Those
so-
look like teenagers.
Yeah, that's what I was like, okay, you're different than the last guys.
You
that
won't
came.
need internet in prison, Chris, just saying.
Do you have to let them do that? Because it's like community.
I have to because Spectrum's pulling out of this area.
Oh.
So you're kind of forced to do it, or you don't have internet.
Oh.
Yeah.
New donation from I also hit balls at his house.
Too much to just like.
Okay, so this is
It's definitely.
this is when
that's
Christopher
what I was
got
telling
arrested by the
Ty
FBI?
last night. Like,
there he is.
you know,
There's this mugshot. Hasn't got any frosted tips, so
it's nice to.
That's
just kinda
AI, by
take
the
a
way.
Step back, you know, because if you were here during the normal operations, 5 to 10 people in my house, people in my bedrooms, I would take meetings in the shower. My assistants
poor guy.
I would have to tell them to get the fuck out of my bathroom so I could take a shower. Because they would just walk in and be like, hey, we got a question. And I'm like, is it that important that you can't wait till I get dressed? It's like, you know, it's like, what people don't.
Just while we're there, I thought it might be nice for you guys to actually see the house that Christopher lives in, because we actually found the real estate video originally, just to give you an idea what $8.5 million, and originally negotiated for $9 million, but then got it down to Chris offered 6. The guy wanted 9, and they finished negotiating for 8.5. But here we go. This is his house, and this is the video. Yeah, so I've been there. Looks lovely. I actually don't like it. I'll just be honest. I wouldn't have that type of house if I had that sort of money, but some people like that sort of house. Not my cup of tea. But if it got given to me, I probably wouldn't be able to afford the upkeep. So you've seen a lot of parties. So Christopher's still holding parties here, even though he's under house arrest. He's still running and having parties. We know he's had at least 3 or 4 parties that we know of. Right on the edge of the golf course, and that's where my Avengers were taking photos on the golf course. So if you want to go take a game of golf and take some photos, please do send them our way. That's the garage where he's got the golf court. That's where the Lamborghini is, right in that garage there. The beautiful kitchen where Darlene and Jones was there, and this is the walkthrough area. And there is no sound, by the way, because I've turned it off. And there we go. So it's a pretty elaborate house. It's even got a guitar if you want to play a tune. Oh, seen that one already. I just thought I'd show you that, so you know. That's probably where he's sitting today. It's got fancy work, fancy lights. Look like they've sort of got a bar look to it. Not like a bar, like jail bars. All those, we've seen them there before, and we've seen them here before. Oh, outside shower. That'd be good fun. Bathrooms, master bedroom, no doubt. Don't jump. Yeah, so it's a pretty extraordinary house. Not what he was brought up with, but I thought we would throw that in there and show you that as well. And there we go. The house. Anyway, it's currently up for sale. If you want to buy it at a discounted rate, I would probably go in at probably about 6.5 mil. We'll probably get that one. And that was my video. Now we're going to go back to Chris and let's see if they've got the gardener out of the house.
Realize is, yes, more money, more problems, but you also lose a lot of privacy.
Oh.
You know, I got a house full of people and I got to go take a shit. There's no hiding that, you know?
Wow. I think somebody's knocking on the door.
Oops, somebody's knocking on the door now. Probably the Jehovah's Witnesses.
Well, now we can.
Hi, how are you?
Okay.
Who is that?
I like all the secret stuff.
In my house. He's not my friend. So,
Was that cut? Remember, these are the unedited. Oh, these are the edited but not really edited versions. Oh, come on, cameraman. Make him not blurry. Oh, there he is. Focus. Focus. Focused.
How long ago was that?
what was Mardi Gras?
Huh.
It was the weekend of Mardi Gras. Yeah. A couple weeks ago.
Oh, that got cut.
When you got to Orlando in 2019, where did you live originally?
In Apopka. We rented a house in Apopka.
How did you start Goliath? Because you were doing consulting.
I love the part how Chris was doing consulting, but at the end of the day, it just doesn't make sense, that part. Yesterday, I did talk about how we were going to hear about how his kid nearly got kidnapped. Obviously, it didn't happen yesterday, so hopefully today.
It was a culmination of things. I started consulting internationally.
That's a very funny comment. I'll put it up on the screen. There's no privacy in prison, Chris. Sorry to let you know.
I was consulting in Dubai a lot. That's how my ties to Dubai got started. And started making a lot of money.
500,000 in a
And,
day.
You know, we're talking $500,000 in a day.
That's a pretty outrageous claim.
150,000 in a day, you know.
And we've got a calculator. What's
a
30
good length
times
of time.
500,000?
So I was making a lot of money, and I was doing a lot in the crypto space. And I was asking everyone, like, you know, you're making all this money, you're buying all this crypto, what are you doing with it? Because you're not selling it. So what are you doing with it to make more money? And that's how I got introduced to liquidity pools. And
Yeah, just to be clear, CoffeeZilla has actually done a lot of this work. He was, as I mentioned in the intro, Christopher was actually, there's an email where he's asking for a $1.1 million withdrawal to happen after he's lost money in a Ponzi scheme. And believe that was Traders Domain. Now, I haven't been following Traders Domain, but CoffeeZilla, that was one of his babies. And he actually remembers seeing an old email from Christopher actually asking for 1.1 million, I think it was. Figures may not be exactly right, but it's a lot of money. So do your own research on that one. But my point is, this was part of him getting used to playing on the Ponzi market and the high risk yield investment. A lot of these companies that he invested in, especially with NLP, my liquidity partners, weren't actually generating their money. Now, I wish I watched the video, but Crypto G gave me a video, and it was in a different language, and I've got to translate it, hence why I haven't got it in front of me. And he was showing me that NLP wasn't doing the volume of trading to generate the returns that they were paying the investors. So even using the blockchain information, we could see that my liquidity partners wasn't generating the volume of money necessary to get the yield to pay investors the money they were paying investors, which means if you were clever enough, you could instantly tell that they were running a Ponzi scheme and paying new investors. New investors were paying old investors to keep the illusion alive. And this is what Christopher has fallen victim to. So Christopher is a victim of a Ponzi scheme. But only really funny thing, if you want to have a bit of sense of humor about this, is Christopher literally thought it was a good idea to white label someone else's product and not tell anybody he's white labeling it and put his own brand on top of it and make out that they are doing liquidity pool investments. And they never were.
investing in funds that were very similar to Goliath.
But they weren't similar because Goliath didn't have anything set up.
Goliath's name had changed because I always wanted the name. But a company in Tampa was having it,
Thanks,
or had
Susie.
the name, and they were in the process of dissolving their company. So as soon as I had access to change the name, I did, from Gen Z to Goliath. So Goliath was still a consulting firm at that time. And then we wanted to get into the fund space.
So let's just
And
do
we
it.
wanted to basically create our own liquidity pools and create our own fund.
The
And
want doesn't mean he necessarily
it
did.
really started with the best and most pure intentions.
Oh.
You know, I was doing very well.
Give me a bucket.
In consulting, in investing. I had invested in a couple companies. One company made me a couple $1 million.
I believe that's Trader's Domain, where he may have made his first lot of money and thought, oh,
These are crypto companies, so it's very quick and fast-paced money. And I had a lot of people that were just like, you know, taking your kids to school, picking them up. At every practice, I never missed a practice, never missed a game.
So I just can't get over this, and I really need to drive this point home. Christopher Delgado is not a victim. He was not a company owner that had a failed business. He is a fraudster who was white labeling somebody else's Ponzi scheme and claiming it as his own. That is deception, and that is illegal. And then he was moving money from one entity to another, claiming he was doing something he wasn't. So that is complete fraud and deception, and there's no way about it. So if he's sitting here, because Channel 9 wanted to put a camera in front of his face, which I'm glad they have, and he's sitting here saying these stuff like he was a clever businessman, he's not. He's straight fraudster 101.
You know, was living the life, I guess, as you just say, but living the life in a very modest and conservative way when it, you know, in my family, not what you see today. And people wanted that, you know, people wanted to spend more time with their kids.
Put your hand up. We'll put a 7 in the chat room if you want to spend more time with your family and not work. Oh my God.
And
who
being
doesn't
more
want
of an
that?
engaged father, engaged husband. And I was living that life. And so when people were asking me, for the longest time, I was just referring them to another fund. It's like, I have my money here, go put your money there. And it's paying. It was paying like 8% a month. And it was working for the longest time. And so when people come to me, and I didn't want to handle people's money, because I knew that all the government agencies you have to deal with, all that kind of stuff. I was like, I don't want to touch that. So just invest alongside of me and invest in this company. And it wasn't until one of my friends at the time, who eventually became my business partner,
I said eventually became his business partner.
was like, why don't we just create Goliath its own fund? And I always tell people from the beginning, and I have a lot of people who can testify on my behalf, that I never wanted this. I never wanted employees. I never wanted to manage people's money. I never wanted this life.
So this is the part that really got me spinning, because NLP, as I just explained, and I will dig up that video
New
so you
donation
know.
from 7, but Nick always said Chris hated his kids.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't spend as much time with his kids as he claims to be. But I will bring up the video showing that my liquidity partners wasn't doing the volume to merit the pay that they were paying out their investors. So they were running a straight Ponzi scheme. So the fact that they wanted to set up something similar to my liquidity partners was even more outrageously stupid, because they wouldn't be able to generate the returns that they were already signing people up. And yesterday, I don't know, at the end of this video, he talks about how he had a $50 million investment from New York. Well, I've spoken to that guy, and I don't believe that he was using that as a carrot to see if he could get his money back. So the guy invested millions, and then he was alleging that he was going to invest more money, hoping that they would pay back his original principal so he could get out of it. And I think Christopher took the bait on that one. Now, that's all hypothetical stuff, but I haven't had a chance to go back to that person and ask them if that was the case. But I do remember through our messages that story coming up. So everything you hear here, if you want the truth, and we're sort of basically letting you know some of the investigation that unraveled as we were investigating, and now we're seeing the jigsaw puzzle, a picture becoming clearer and clearer. And all these claims to me, I just can't help but stop and tell you the truth of what I believe actually really did happen, rather than listen to this idiot on the screen tell everyone that he was trying to set up a proper business.
I was completely happy living quietly. You know, the life that I had, I was very happy. I was taking nice vacations. I was making passive income. I was having successful investments.
Well, not necessarily, Chris, because you were investing large amounts of money. You were still chasing that big dream. I mean, Trader's Domain is a great example. You lost over $1 million in that.
And I had, my business partner at the time and one of his close friends come to me. We had dinner one night at Ava, and they came to me and they said,
New donation from my wife still awake.
Bigger than what
Oh,
it is.
so you just, I like that. Because your wife's still awake, you're not so aggressive on the donations today. Well, I think that's lovely. Say hello from me.
And that was how Goliath started.
How much were you making at the time, you all in your friend group? Were you all putting your money together?
This is actually excellent. Now, I've went to town to get a beard cut and a haircut today. They didn't have an appointment, so I'm riding home from town, which is a 20-minute scooter ride, and I've got my earpieces in, and I'm listening to this, and I'm trying to work out the maths on how much money Nick, Jay Newton, and Christopher were actually making with their first 5 million, and I've got those figures. But listen to this first and see if you can figure out in the chat room, if you want, how much money they actually made. Now, just to put it in perspective, he's about to tell you that they managed to gather $5 million worth of investors' funds, and how much did they get from giving $5 million to another Ponzi scheme? So they collected, I just want to really make you think about this, $5 million worth of friends and family's money so they could get some breadcrumbs. And that shows you the deception and the fraud that these guys have done knowingly. This isn't an accidental Ponzi scheme. This isn't we accidentally robbed the bank. This is intentional fraud.
No, we were all separated. I was earning a referral fee, but it wasn't something I sought. It was just part of the program. So they were just like, hey, if you have friends that want to invest, we're going to give you a 0.25% on their money. And I had gotten to the point, I think I was making maybe 30, 40,000 a month on just referral fees, not even my own money.
So that's $200,000 worth of other people's money he's putting into a Ponzi scheme and getting the commissions. Every single Ponzi scheme and scam, multi-level marketing, web investigation I've done over the last 5 years, which is well over 250 Ponzi schemes I've invested. Every single one of them is all about the commission that these people get from referring other people. And that's what really makes me vomit in a bucket. The fact is that he's got $30,000 a month coming in, and he's generated $200,000 worth of stolen funds for the Ponzi scheme he's supporting.
So yeah, I was in the range of 50 to 75,000 a month, and
okay, so he's getting in for the Ponzi scheme that he's not associated. He's getting between $200,000 to $500,000 is coming in a month.
Straight passive income, not really doing much. And
disgusting.
They all saw
Absolutely
them. They all
disgusting.
started investing, and and I didn't catch it at first.
So if you were one of the ones that were investing with Chris at that time, we would love to hear from you because we'd like to know how the money actually moved. Was it, send us money to my wallet? What wallet address? We're still investigating this. We haven't left you guys stranded. We're right now, I've got a screen above me here, and I can see messages coming up with people telling me stuff, which I'm trying to relay to you guys. But right now, if you were investing way back in 2023 of Christopher, thinking that he was encouraging you to put money into my Liquidity Partners, I want to hear from you because we'd love to know how he handled the money. Did he get you to put the money straight with my Liquidity Partners and then they gave him a backhander? Or did he handle the money for you and set up the account for you? And if so, what brand did he do that under? That would be really interesting for us just to get a few more people so we can follow the money.
Obviously I did all the due diligence. I flew to Dubai. I met with these people. I took the big risk for a year to have my money with them. And my business partner, Nick.
So so we can put a timeline on this. So he was investing with my Liquidity Partners for 12 months and he was just keeping his mouth shut. And that was after Trader's Domain, which was another big scam. So this guy is not a crypto trader. He is a Ponzi scheme investor. Get in and get out before it collapses.
Wanted a piece of the referral of people he brought in. But again, like I said, Goliath started with pure intentions.
What the heck?
So in my mind, I just thought like, sure, you know, these are your friends. These are not thinking all the things that I had to go do to get to this point. I'm just like, sure, you know, you want to have a friend invest and I get paid the 10 grand on it, you can have it.
Crazy.
So when we got to the bigger numbers, I ended up splitting the commissions with Nick, because those were his people, and I didn't see it as a business opportunity. It was just, you know, I wanted to hang out with my friends. I wanted to hang out with my kids. I wanted to take nice vacations, and I had that.
So you guys meet at Ava, you, Jason, Nick, who else
Oh,
is there?
oh,
Just
did we
six
not-
of you?
Yeah,
Did we?
And you come up with this plan to start Goliath.
they come up with this plan.
What do they say to you?
Wonder why they didn't use 21 Ventures instead of Gen Ventures or Goliath Ventures name instead. Wonder why they decided to run it under Goliath.
So we sit at Ava, and they're like, "We have an idea." And I already knew something was like, I already knew they were up to some. They were up to some idea. And they both say that they want to basically start managing people's money. You know, Nick was like, I have a lot of friends. I have a lot of doctor friends. I have a lot of people that I can go to. And Jason was supposed to be the VP of sales. And so, you know, they would both work together and bring in money. And all I remember that night is I said, okay, because it was going to be under the Goliath umbrella. So I said, okay, but I don't want to talk to anyone. I don't want to deal with investors. I don't want to talk to them. I don't want to see them. They have questions. They have anything. You guys deal with it. My only job was to make sure that the commissions between myself, Jay, and Nick were split. So when that report came in and the payment came in, I would sit down with them and say, okay, who gets what?
How was it split?
3 ways. But, you know, in the beginning it was like 3 equal ways, and then it was like Nick's doing more work, so he should get an extra, and or Jay's doing more work, you know. But they would handle that. I would just ask Nick and Jay, who am I sending what and how much, you know? And then I'd take my piece. And it was really just
Take
more
my
like
piece.
a royalty because they're using my
It was
money.
like a bank robbery and you divvy up the money. It's literally how disgusting it is, guys.
And we thought we would end the year with $1 million of AUM. And we ended the year with over 5 million in a 2-3 month process. So that's when I knew, like, we have something.
So in a matter of a few months, you all made a profit of $5 million. How did that
No
happen?
doubt.
No, we didn't make a profit of 5 million. We had brought in 5 million. Or
Oh,
close to
from
5 million.
investors.
From investors, yeah.
So in a period of a few months, however many people gave you $5 million,
Yeah.
did you have a license to manage it? Like, how was the...
No, I mean, so that's where, you know, that's where we've always sought counsel. And we were told, you know, this is friends and family. You guys are just, you know, we tell them the story. We were having dinner. We came with an idea. We wanted to invest alongside each other. We had a vehicle. It was working. And we wanted to bring our friends and our family into it. That was it. And I would always say that, I would always tell people, like, all I wanted to do was just take vacations with my friends. And my friends are always working or doing this.
Give me
or
a
doing
break.
that. So I found this as a vehicle to free up their time so we could all just hang out. And it was working for the longest time.
So is Christopher telling a
What did
story?
you say to people to convince them to give you their money?
That's a clip that will go down in history, that one. So Christopher here is actually narrating the story. He's literally watching what he says. Now, theoretically, he wants to tell a story, but he's still controlling everything, isn't he? He's in control of the conversations and what he says, and watching his cues and P's and whatever they do. So that's quite interesting from my perspective. Just thought I'd say that. I'm just going to try to make this font a little bit better on the screen Susie's messages are good. I want to make sure we get all of them. Just make sure that, and we'll carry on. I'm not very good at this game. They've gone. All right. So what else did we get there? So I'm going to say it. Go back to Gen Z. Who was there? So Susie's put those names. I can't read those. Vince. Now I've corresponded with both those people, and they claim that they are also victims. We've already mentioned in our book that we had here what we were trying to do this for. So we talk about a couple of individuals here, and I think it's relevant that we bring them up. I'm just going to go back to my book that you can grab if you want. But if you go down to the people mentioned, we talk about a couple of individuals here. And these are people that were Bidward. I don't even know anything about this. But these are people that Christopher was either being a consultant for. He claims he was consulting, but I don't think so. But the one that really stands out is this guy here, Jada Dar. Am I saying that right? Probably not. So I'm going to get it read.
Junaid Dar.
Junaid Dar. Sorry about the noise of that. Co-founder of Seed Hunter and former chief executive officer for Moon Group. Okay, so this tells us that connection there. There's a small handful of people that are literally all in bed together, and anything that's going down on the street, so to speak, these guys are all over it. So these guys are conniving ways to play the market. Whether you want to call it crypto, you can, but I wouldn't. Because these are guys who are all participating in Ponzi schemes. They haven't done the due diligence, as Christopher claims that they did the due diligence. When I tell you that I've done an investigative journalist piece, and I tell you that I've investigated, I normally put court documents if I've got them, email correspondence, screenshots from individuals, and I do a lot of research. So just to say that they did their due diligence, you know, they didn't check out these companies that they were telling people to invest in. And this is where it really is a bone of contention for me and my Avengers, who are absolutely fuming the fact that Christopher has got a chance here to just carry on telling everyone this is a failed business venture. This is what I think he's trying to get across.
Say anything. I've never solicited $1 into Goliath.
Now, that is absolutely horseshit, poos and wheeze, ladies and gentlemen. He's making out that he's got an exclusive investment fund. And by keeping his mouth shut and making it fear of missing out or privilege to be part of, how he portrayed himself as a tycoon, a wealthy individual, and then to sit here and say that he's never solicited, it's all part of the act. You know, I look like I'm a raving success, and you can't invest your money with me unless you are approved. Exclusive boys club, the alpha male club, the nights at the London club, look at me club. Everything is there to show people that to get inside this inner circles. He's even part of the war room, which was part of the war room until he got kicked out by Andrew Tate. And it's all exclusive men's clubs. And this is how they solicit the funds. So for him to say he's never solicited $1 for Goliath Ventures is so far from the truth. His company is called Goliath Ventures. It's an investment, private equity company, as he likes to call it. And he's telling you here that he's never solicited funds. It's just horseshit.
I think that's the biggest misconception that's out there is I have never had an investment call with investors. Now, I have been asked to go to dinners, Nick is having a dinner with doctors or people, and he's asked me because I'm CEO of the company to come in and sit, but I've had the same message.
That's endorsing your investment. That is a way of giving people peace of mind.
For everyone. I'm not going to sit here and pitch you on my company. I'm not going to sit here and tell you.
You don't need to, because you've got all your other memes doing the work for you, Chris. You're giving people reassurance by endorsing you, by what you do.
You need to give your money to my company. You're either comfortable or you're not. And if you're not comfortable, and I have always said this to any person I've sat with, my goal is for you to sleep at night.
What a load of crap. How are you sleeping at night now then? Hey, to who listens to that advice? All the people, the 2,000 plus people that have lost money to Goliath Ventures, how are you sleeping at night? Did you listen to Chris when he said to you, oh, don't give me money that's going to make you not sleep at night? When he's going out there soliciting funds from people.
So if you're going to give me money and you can't sleep at night, it's going to affect your marriage. It's going to
Doesn't that contradict what he just said? If he's having that discussion with people who are giving him money and then telling you on the other hand that he's never solicited funds, who's he having this conversation with?
affect your kids. It's going to affect your whole life. Don't give me your money. That was my pitch.
His pitch. Why do you have a pitch for? You have a pitch because you want to present something or give clout to something or endorse something.
So what was said at these dinners, these meetings, that gave people a level of comfort to give you? I mean, because the baseline was $100,000.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't always $100,000. They put the squeeze on people. We showed you yesterday the video where we managed to get that video talking about their corporate structure. It didn't used to be $100,000, but they told people that if you couldn't get to be an approved investor, which was the minimum was $100,000. So all these people like firemen who had put $30,000 or $40,000 or $50,000 in were told that they weren't allowed to pool their money together. But if they wanted to remain in the fund, they had to come up with the additional funds to get up to the 100,000 mark. So even people who had put maybe $30,000 or $40,000 that they had in their bank account into this fund now went and mortgaged their house, maxed out their credit cards because it was so good to push it up to $100,000. So that's why this scam really hurts a lot of people.
So what was said to convince people to hand over that kind of money?
I think there was a lot of conversations happening. Again, I told you the conversations that I had and the points that I would make. I would never go to a dinner to pitch people. I always had the approach that I'm there as a CEO. They can feel my presence.
So they had a formula.
But I'm not there to sell you why you should give my company money. So
Okay,
I
Chris?
can only sit here and speculate that they were promising things that we probably couldn't deliver on.
Oh my God. Really? You're gonna actually have company meetings like we showed you yesterday, have a room full of young executives and then throw them under the bus, Chris? Boy, you really will need that rope on the soap when you get to prison, mate.
Do you think your presence at these meetings, at the dinners, pressured people or made them feel more comfortable to give the money?
I think it was both.
That's the elephant in the room.
You know, at the time, Goliath was like the cool kids club.
I hate this state.
If you lived in Orlando or if you lived in Windermere or Dr. Phillips and you weren't part of Goliath, it was weird. People looked at you weird and were like, why doesn't Chris like you? Why didn't he allow you to invest in his fund? Why?
Oh my God.
It was such a weird power dynamic play that was happening. You know, I'd be seen with this person and then that would get leaked out like, oh, Chris is having dinner with this person, you know, and they're very influential. You know, Chris was on a trip with this person or Chris went, you know, here with this person or they got to go with Chris. And it was always that you got to go with Chris. Chris liked you. Chris allowed you to invest in his company, that kind of thing. So I think it was both. I think it was my presence that pressured people because I was there and didn't say much. And then it was also a level of comfort of knowing that the who's who of Orlando are essentially in my pocket.
Oh, he's the man again, just like Burger King.
In the beginning, like when you had the $5 million, what happened to that money? Was it ever invested?
It was. So, like I said, Goliath always started with pure intentions. We were using the fund. We were basically white labeling a fund. So we would use a fund to send money to. We would label it as Goliath's fund. That fund would pay us out, and then we would pay out investors. And that worked for quite some time.
Guess how long?
3-4 months.
3 or 4 months.
But in the process of that, we were all...
So when I listened to that the other night, I'm thinking 3 or 4 months. So he managed to figure out how to make some money and white labeled something, but it only lasted 3 or 4 months. I mean, it's just ridiculous that he's actually just said that. Unreal. So incoming money for Goliath Ventures all time, whether that money got off the platform before they lost it all. Because remember this, he's got $5 million, just using this one as an example, and he puts it into somebody else's coffers. They pay out 8% per month, do the maths on that, and for 3 or 4 months. And then he was using that money to pay early investors to keep them happy while he was promising them that the money that he was generating was coming from my liquidity partners, from Goliath Ventures for doing liquidity pools trading. And we've just shown you, I've got to find that video actually, thanks Crypto G, of not doing enough volume to generate the returns they were paying their investors. How much volume would Goliath Ventures need to do once this monster or this Goliath thing started up and got going with all its momentum? How much liquidity trading would it have needed to do to return the investments they were paying people, which would prove instantly, if you were clever enough on a calculator, without even that much calculation, that they weren't getting money from where they were claiming they were getting the money. They were getting it literally from new investors.
Also developing our own liquidity pools. And I personally have given millions of dollars, $5-6 million into these development teams to build a working system. The problem that we ran into,
here we go,
was when that fund froze,
3 or 4 months,
we already had this big name. We already had all this trust.
Rubbish.
We already had people sending us in millions of dollars. And we were in the middle of development of our own product. So we had enough capital to carry us, to do distributions and to carry us. And we had enough capital coming in. So we were just trying to buy time to get our product working.
So how much was invested in the beginning?
In the beginning of what?
Goliath. When you got money from the investors, how much of their money was invested?
Here we go.
All of it. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
No, it was all getting funneled to another fund. And we were just labeling it Goliath. We were, white labeling it Goliath.
What were the early returns?
We were so, going back to, we were just giving people 8% because that's what the fund was paying out. And then we were splitting the referral fee. And so, again, we weren't building Goliath to be a business. It was just friends and family investing alongside each other. And our incentive was we were splitting the commission. It wasn't until later down the road where it's like, okay, we can't, first off, our product isn't launched. Our one fund is frozen. And we can't offer 8%.
Explain to people, because I want to get back to that, but explain to people when you say like the fund is frozen, what does that mean?
So what we were told was that the fund that we're using and calling Goliath, that the wallets were all frozen. So the money couldn't move. So the money couldn't move into liquidity pools. The money couldn't move into our wallets. So everything was kind of just like, when the bank suspects fraud and they freeze your accounts. You can see the money, but you can't move it anywhere. You can't move it outside the bank. You can't go withdraw cash. That's what happened to us.
There was no fund.
Everything just kind of stopped.
What happened? Why? What was the reason?
From what we were told,
is that what you're going to say?
That because the fund was using personal wallets.
Oh my God.
That when they hit over, 200 million, their wallets went under an audit and they got frozen.
That what they told you?
You can't use
Sounds like a great exit strategy, Chris.
That much amount of money on Binance. Which is what pushed Goliath to have institutional wallets. Which is why we went through the process to get institutional wallets with Coinbase. Because we didn't want that. We didn't want that problem later down the road. So that's what we were told. Whether that's true or not, and whether that fund was an actual Ponzi and then collapsed because of that, we
Ponzi,
honestly
was it?
really don't
Really?
know.
I thought you were
And the
consulting
reason
people.
we don't know
You should know this.
is because we've had people from Binance say, yes, there's a significant amount of money in these wallets and they are frozen. And we've had attorneys talk to Binance attorneys and say, there's money in these wallets, but they're frozen.
Okay.
So we really don't know. Was MLP, my liquidity partner, an actual Ponzi scheme? Or was it an actual true venture?
Oh my God.
And the excuse that they gave us was legitimate.
Oh, what was the excuse? I want to know what the excuse they gave you. Is that the wallets weren't commercial wallets, they were private wallets. Is that what you're saying? And all their money got frozen. And then no one could get their money out of it. And you think that's what you call a legitimate excuse. And you don't even know. So you were, oh my God, you were walking people off the cliff, Chris. And you were telling them what to do with their money. And you wasn't even licensed. You weren't a regulated financial advisor. You were nothing. You were a nobody. You were a piece of shit. And then all of a sudden, all the money gets frozen. And you're sitting here now thinking, oh my God, we'll have to come up with our own fund now. We'll have to come up with our own Ponzi scheme to keep the illusion alive.
So you're growing, you're growing, you're growing. You're still taking in investors. But the fund is frozen, so you can't pay out anything.
The fund is frozen that we're white labeling,
That's not me,
but
by
we're
the way.
still developing ours. And for us, what we were being told, what Nick and I were being told was that our product would be available in March of, I think that was 23.
Who told you that?
So January, our white label fund gets frozen, so we have 2 months to carry. And we knew we had enough capital to carry those 2 months, and then our fund would be live in March. But like anything else, in life, things don't always go to plan. So it just kept getting delayed and delayed and delayed. But in these delays, we are now a rocket ship.
And you continue to take investors.
We didn't have any choice.
Why didn't you just say no?
I think it's easy
Yeah.
for someone to sit on the
Basic question,
outside.
but a good question.
And yes, that's the most logical answer. To freeze everything.
Yeah.
To stop.
That
to
would have
not
saved
take-
people from losing their life savings, Chris. How do you feel now?
It goes to saying there's been a lot of people in my position.
What?
99% of those people didn't stop.
Oh,
And you have
you're
to
talking
really
about
ask yourself,
Warren Buffett.
why?
Oh, no, not Warren Buffett.
Like,
Murdoch.
you can sit on the outside and make a logic decision and
Bernie
say, you
Madoff
should
with
have
hold
just
on
stopped
people's
and not
money.
took any money in. I've heard that 1,000 times.
Oh, okay. Well, it must be right then.
But when you're in the middle,
Rehearse that one.
when you're in the middle of it and you believe in this product, you're developing it, you've invested millions of dollars already, you have people coming up to you, how grateful they are, how their lives have changed. You're doing everything that you can to keep this dream alive. The minute you stop that, everything else halts. So it's not about greed at this point. It's not about, it's about protecting what we had just built and protecting the sacred relationships we built from that and the trust we have. And so we couldn't freeze it. We had so much inflow coming in. And we knew that we had the cash to cover. And we knew once our product launched that we could have right or wrong and no one would have ever known.
The very definition of what you just described is a Ponzi scheme.
Unreal. So they knew that they were in the shit. They kept taking the money. They were hoping they were going to come up with another, what they thought was genuine liquidity pool trading, and then be able to trade their way out of it. I'm just doing some research at the moment on this, my liquidity pool, and we do actually have a screenshot, which I'll show you in a second, but let's just show you, what I'm trying to show you is obviously my liquidity partners didn't have the the trading volume to generate the returns, which is actually quite fascinating. So if he was a consultant in crypto and providing advice to people, this would be another walk. I'm not a crypto guy. Crypto G, Susie, who's in the chat, are crypto people. And they will tell you that it's mathematically impossible for what he was getting the money, the 8% return per day didn't exist. Anyone who claims to be a crypto professional can figure out that what he thought was happening is bullshit because they're running a Ponzi scheme. Regardless of what they say, it's bullshit. Yeah. Put you on the spot then, Chris. How are you going to answer that one?
But I also think a Ponzi scheme has intent.
This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard anybody say on the planet.
Knowingly raising money, knowingly building it as a fraud.
अस्सलामुअलैकुम दोस्तों, तो कैसे हैं? उम्मीद
That's
करता
what
हूँ
everyone's missing here. I didn't build Goliath to be a Ponzi scheme. Didn't build Goliath to be a fraud. We were changing people's lives. We were using a vehicle that was working. We were seeing the relief it was bringing. And like any business,
Oh my God.
we hit a roadblock.
Oh my God.
And we dumped millions of dollars into development, into
$50 million,
fixing the roadblock,
I heard. Where did that money come from?
into trying to get us back on track.
Trying to get us back on track.
So yes, I agree with you in the definition,
The intent?
but the intent was completely different than how other people had operated.
So you get to a point where it's like,
Just process that, ladies and gentlemen, for a wee while. His intent is he's just said he spent millions of dollars in development. He's obviously mixing up his timelines quite a lot. But if he spent millions of dollars in development trying to set up his own liquidity pool system that didn't really exist, if he was trying to set up something similar to NLP, where did that money come from? He was using other people's money. Unless he had, I think somewhere in my script shows that he had $56 million invested in developing a platform where he believed that he was waiting for it to actually come to life and then it was going to be able to trade their way out of the disaster. But in the meantime, without investors knowing, he's using their money into research and development. I mean, that's what he's done. He's not saying that, but that's what he's obviously done.
gosh, it's March. Like, it's still frozen. What do you do then?
Oh, panic.
Nick and I are going
Go
back
take a
and forth
shit.
to Dubai. We're flying there, emergency meetings. We're meeting with our teams.
Emergency meetings.
We're meeting with the thing. And, we're getting
Please translate and summarize. Sorry.
late February, early March. We're doing 30-40% in returns. So you sit there and you're testing and you're seeing 30-40%. So in our mind, we're thinking, if we hold the commissions part of it and just pay people what they're owed, the cash flow that we can get back, we're good.
Oh my God. So they were offering incentives. So just like my liquidity partners, I don't know if I missed it before I walked out of the room, but he said that he was getting between, they brought in $5 million. If my liquidity partners were given a backhanded to people that gave them investors funds of 1.5%, that means that between them all, I worked out $75,000 come in for 3 months. He was making, he claimed, they brought in. So for $75,000, they said goodbye to friends and family's $5 million. And now he's also paying those same commissions to people that are referring money into Goliath. So at some points, we believe that some people were getting 8 to 10% from referring people into the fund. So when you hand over your $100,000, $10,000 worth of that money straight away goes to people that referred you into it. They were divvying up money with no products. They were literally chopping up people's money and handing it out. Now, if you think about the timeline here, this is what would be really interesting. He bought 12 sports cars, 18 Rolex watches. He spent $100,000 on alcohol in one night. He spent over $1 million on his girlfriend's handbags in a 12-month period. We're going to go through walkthroughs in the house and see the Louis Vuitton table. All this spend was happening when he was claiming they were going back and forth to Dubai to do emergency meetings. I mean, get me out of the gutter. This guy is trailer trash.
We're saved. And no one knew that there was this roadblock. The problem was that it just kept getting delayed. And it was March. Then it was April.
Oh, blame it on everyone else.
First week of June. Well, the problem is everyone in Dubai leaves for the summer. So everyone left in the summer to Germany and to, wherever else they went. So that June deadline now got pushed to September. And so we're just pressing on our team to get this live and even, and with that you have the market. In February 23, market was good. We're getting good returns. We're getting, in our beta testing, we're getting 30-40% returns. But then you have the market that's bad in the summer. And you're only...
Look, Warren Buffett says it the best. He said you can see who's been swimming naked when the tide goes out. Now, when he's talking now, I'm no crypto junkie, as I say, but crypto was going up. So if you buy Bitcoin at $60,000 a Bitcoin, and over a 2-month period it goes up to 70,000, then it does, if this is where you're doing liquidity pool trading, which is basically the merchant fee that you get when you buy something in a shop, the shop will pay 2.8% for the use, the letting somebody use their credit card and they'll handle all the money. So that, from my opinion, he explains it better than me later on, funny enough, that's where they were making the money from. That's liquidity pool trading. But he's also, there's no proof. So beta testing, they were making 30% on people's funds, but nothing got over the line, nothing got finished. Am I got that right? I hope so. Now, there's some other interesting stuff happening here in the background. So there's a video here, which I'm going to post in here, and it talks about my liquidity partners, and I'm going to make a hash out of this explaining it. But basically, at the time of, NLP, my liquidity partner NLP review, complete details, events from NLP token is the best for long term. So what I've done is, this is in a different language, so let's prove that.
इसकी टीम की बात की जाए तो यहाँ पर आप लोग देख सकते हैं during this turbulent time in the
Right, so you can understand that, nor can I. And this is where I use my translator app, and I put it all into, I believe that's Hindi. And then I've asked it to give me a breakdown of what this guy was actually talking about. Crypto G gave this to me, and I haven't reviewed this, and I shouldn't really do this live, but I can't help myself. But I just want to read this so that we can see what he's going on about. It might help you understand about how much liquidity they had, and whether, I'm not even sure if this video is calling it a scam, but the money they were paying out is greater than the volume they were going through. So it mathematically doesn't add up. But let's have a quick listen and see how far we get before we go.
Here's a concise English translation and summary of the video's key points. Summary: My Liquidity Partner MLP review. Is it good for the long term? The presenter reviews My Liquidity Partner MLP, a crypto liquidity platform and token, explaining how it works, where to buy it, and whether it's suitable as an investment. Overview: MLP My Liquidity Partner is presented as a DeFi liquidity platform originating from the United Arab Emirates, UAE. And the presenter claims it allows users to earn returns by participating in liquidity provision. It offers leverage options such as 2x, 3x, and 4x. NFT promotion. The video promotes a limited time event featuring limited edition gold NFT coins, exclusive participation opportunities, scarcity marketing. Not everyone will be able to get one. Team and community. The presenter highlights approximately 19,600 Twitter X followers, an active development team, claims that the company prioritizes investor security, protecting partner funds, operating during volatile market conditions. These are promotional statements rather than independently verified facts. Market conditions. The presenter discusses uncertainty in the crypto market, mentioning geopolitical issues and volatility. He claims MLP continues to provide security despite difficult market conditions, although no evidence is presented. Trading analysis. According to the presenter, MLP is better suited for short-term trading, scalping, than long-term investing. He points to chart support levels and suggests traders may achieve approximately 2 to 10% short-term gains through trading. These are personal opinions, not guarantees. Market data. He notes CoinMarketCap was showing missing market cap and circulating supply information. He explains this as a normal issue following new listings.
Oh.
Long-term investment opinion. This is the most significant conclusion in the video. The presenter notes, MLP reached an all-time high approximately 5 months earlier. It had fallen around 76% from its peak. Because of this decline, he says, open quote, he does not recommend MLP as a long-term investment. Close quote. Instead, he recommends short-term trading only, buying near support levels, selling after small percentage gains, where to buy. He says MLP can be purchased through Uniswap, Bybit. He reminds viewers they will need to pay Ethereum network gas fees, trading fees, wallet transaction costs, e.g. MetaMask. Overall recommendation, his conclusion is suitable for short-term speculative trading, not recommended for long-term holding. Watch trading fees and gas costs before investing. Why this video is particularly interesting. From your ongoing Goliath Ventures investigation, this video is especially notable because Christopher Delgado has repeatedly stated that Goliath originally white-labeled My Liquidity Partner MLP before attempting to build its own liquidity platform. In his WFTV interview, Delgado says Goliath's original agreements were modeled on MLP's contracts. Goliath initially routed investor funds into MLP. MLP was described as a crypto liquidity fund that everyone in crypto appeared to be investing in. Goliath later attempted to replace MLP with its own proprietary liquidity pool. This useful historical evidence because they demonstrate how MLP was being promoted publicly to retail investors during the period when Goliath claimed it was using or modeling its investment strategy on MLP.
Now, I'll tell you a little bit about Danny's brain. That goes straight over its head, but that might be relevant to somebody watching, but I didn't want to not bring that up, and I didn't want to not basically document that video. So I'm going to document, I'll actually archive all that stuff and put it with the MLP investigation that we did. But I just wanted to bring that up. I don't know why. Anyway, if anyone can understand that, well, what was the key takeaway? I don't know.
Getting 3-4% returns, or you're getting 1. And so the problem we had was our development team knew how good the returns could be, and they were aiming for that every single time. Instead of just getting it launched and then dealing with the returns that we could get month to month. That was the problem we were having. And so it just got delayed. But as the delays happened, we were getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
Because you're still taking money.
Yeah.
So we're in September 2023 now. You still have there is no real fund developed. Why didn't you just cut bait then? Because now you've got months that have gone by. Nothing is happening. Wouldn't it have just been better to just say, look, this isn't working. We've got to cut bait.
Yeah, that's right. You go on that, Chris. Why did you keep stealing people's money? Chris, answer the question. Christopher, answer the question.
Again, it's hard to do that in the moment. Yes, the logical answer is just cut our losses. Come out, tell our investors.
Tell them how good you are at cooking burgers, Chris.
It's done.
Burger flipper.
Did you get used to the lifestyle?
No.
The money?
I already had the lifestyle.
Really?
on, say it, Chris.
convinced that something would come of this? Like, which of those buckets are we?
There, at that time, there wasn't really a lifestyle change.
Okay.
You know, my wife and I had split. I had moved out.
Should read the
I was
divorce
living
documents.
in a modest home.
He was renting it, wasn't he?
The year before, I had bought a sports car and bought a new Corvette.
Where did the money come from for the Corvette, Chris? Where did the money come from for the Corvette?
So, and that was paid for.
By? With? Who?
So there wasn't really a lifestyle to be chasing.
Because you had money already.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I
Already
was
lost
already
money in.
successful. I already had money.
Yeah, had $20.
So it wasn't the lifestyle. It was the impact we were having in people's lives. And you're looking at an individual who has conquered so many different
Big
challenges
Rick,
in
thank you
their
very
life.
much, mate. Really generous. Thank you
So
very
many
much.
trials
Really
and
appreciate
tribulations,
it.
and
Helps
has
keep us
and has
all
never
going.
accepted failure as an answer. So I wasn't going to allow this to fail. And I knew if we had stopped, not only was I going to fail all our investors, but I was going to be the biggest failure in Orlando.
Oh, so it's all about prestige because he wanted to be the best crypto trader in the world, like he was the best burger flipper in the world. And then he was the best guy at school in the world. And then he was the best guy at taking your tickets at the movie theater in the world. He was the best dad in the world. He had the most shadiest upbringing in the trailer park for 2 months that he lived in a trailer park for. And now he's worried about his reputation being destroyed by stealing everyone's money. Oh my God, you just can't beat this shit. Go, Chris. Let's worry about Christopher's reputation, shall we? Christopher, that's a really good pose right now. Just saying your eyes look a bit... Ugh. Carry on, Chris.
And I wasn't going to let that happen. And so we pressed.
Thank you very
Take
much
me
for the
to
super
early
chat.
2024.
Even started.
Because it's still locked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Early 2024.
Come on. Tell us, Chris.
I think we just passed over 100 million.
$100 million worth of stolen money.
With how many investors?
And he got 10 million
at
out of
the
it.
time we were about
Wait for it.
no, we were shy of 100 million. We had a Christmas party.
And he spent $500,000 on that
we
Christmas
had about
party.
110 investors show up to the Christmas party.
I'll show you photos of that in a second.
Yeah, we were I think 65, 70 million AUM of end of 2023. And we had a nice Christmas party.
Oh.
Not what they are today, but it was nice. Nice restaurant, nice wine, nice champagne.
Oh, all the nice stuff spent with investors' money.
Everyone thinks if you eat crab at Christmas.
All right, guys, just to give you an idea of the nice spend that they had and the events that this company did. One of the most iconic photos for me was actually this photo here. And this was a $500,000 Christmas dinner, the one that he's actually talking about right now. What's ironic about that is when your company can't pay investors for 2.5 months, you decide to run a $9 million Christmas party the year after. So that's showing you that these guys are really working hard at trying to keep the illusion alive more than actually trying to return the dividends promised to investors. And you can see, these are the co-conspirators that I'm bringing up on screen right now. Stephen Davis, who's actually trying to sue a young couple for $150,000 for tortious interference with his company that isn't even his own company name, called choice-press.com. Young couple who were promised that would be their future business. Steve Davis invested $50,000 into that company, and then got them to do 99% of the work running the company. And then they decided, after seeing all his howdy-doos and what he's living, they wanted to distance himself, got out of the company financially, and now he's trying to chase $150,000 out of them, which is disgusting. So all what I'm saying is it hasn't stopped. We've got Tomo here, who runs Rejuvenation Center and sounds medication. Anyway, he's meant to be broke at the moment. So I've heard, can't even afford to fly first class to Egypt on his holiday anymore. Had to use his points, had to go via Poland to redeem the tickets that he purchased. He hasn't been paying his 401k to his staff for the last 4 years. I've actually got written affidavits from staff members who weren't getting paid their 401k. So the money that he was using, what was he doing with that money? You've got Mike, More Money Mike, who's currently doing an Instagram campaign trying to make out he's some multi-million successful guy. You've got Matt Burke on the end here, who's the guy that was running My Black Block, not to be mistaken as My Black Rock, who was meant to be the independent auditor. And then you've got Alex here, who's a fitness trainer who got fired once because he left Chris's jacket behind, and he got employed at a later time. But he now drives around in a Hurricane, a Lamborghini Hurricane. Not many fitness instructors would be driving one of those. He's actually now given that to Nick Petrillo, who's standing next to him. Nick Petrillo lives in an $8.5 million house with a $5 million mortgage on it. At one point, Christopher's about to say that Nick Petrillo was making $4 million a month in commissions. Yes. And then you've obviously got Christopher, and you've got Punit Shaw here, who's standing between Steve Davis and Tomo. He's a little wee shorty, but he's a real estate guy. He's recruited 500 people into Goliath. These are the co-conspirators. Now, David Panzik, whatever his name is, don't know too much about him, but ex-fireman, I believe. They went through the fireman community, encouraged people to invest. You know, these are all the co-conspirators' photos, well, some of them anyway. But if you go through here, you can see people that endorse bad behavior. I think that's Solomon, which is Sanjay's wife. I don't know who the other two people are, but maybe you do. We've got photos of billboards that were still playing well after Christopher's indictment. I think they were using up their billboard campaign dollars, which anyway, some people sent those through. But here he is, the man about town. So all these photos are all Christopher, not soliciting a single cent from anybody, but obviously being at flash dinners and given to charities. Even Ellsworth Golf Course wouldn't let him be a member. And we spoke to the golf course. They said that he's not allowed to be. So these are people. We've even got the travel director in here. There's more Mike. There's James Durillo, which is Christopher's brother. There's Hunter Smallback. We've got Vince Grieta. These are other guys, all co-conspirators, all endorsing bad behavior. And there's the men of the moment. There's Nick Petrillo, as Christopher calls him, his business partner, and the like. It just goes on. And now we want these guys held accountable for their actions. But all these photos, these were displayed on the website. And this is probably one of the most iconic photos. This is basically, you've even got Matt in here. You've got Jason Manson, who is heavily involved with Patrick Bet-David. And also, I think we had a discussion about that yesterday of all the ladies behind here. This was the dinner that he's talking about. These are the people that they obviously schmoozed with. 110 investors he just talked about. And these guys have been living the dream. Now, there's also other photos, which I haven't got here, where they're all sitting around. There's Sanjay. Now, Sanjay received a $400,000 order from Christopher when he was going to be at Patrick Bet-David's Vault 2025 conference. We had that invoice scrutinized by somebody and said that he would have received about $300,000 worth of profit out of supply. Now, all that merch has actually gone into storage containers, and somebody that we had on the show a wee while ago actually bought that storage container and now has a whole lot of merchandise with Goliath Ventures all over it. They were booty bags for people that went to Patrick Bet-David's concert. These were the dinners. These were the flash clothes. They were parading around with their Rolex watches on. And this is what you call lifestyle marketing, because I know Christopher talked about how he couldn't, in this very clip here, he's going to talk about Mark Najiv's, how he got involved. And he's also going to talk about the morning he woke up and he had 100 text messages because the first article was published about him. And we're going to hear all about that. And all this, I believe, will be cut out of the other videos. Actually, I don't believe they are. They still mention them. So it'd be interesting to know why they removed these videos. And I do have a few theories of my own. But anyway, let's carry on. Just wanted to give you the full extended version of what really is going on. And I would love to follow all the timelines. So here's Christopher saying they're working really hard at getting it all going. But the reality is he's blowing everyone's money on lifestyle marketing. How can you go from spending half $500,000 on a Christmas dinner to $9 million on a Christmas dinner when your company has collapsed? These guys got too cocky for their own shoes, and I stopped them.
They're funny how you learn these things. You learn these things as kids. You know, you have a shrimp cocktail and you eat king crab legs. So that, you know, life is good. So yeah, early 24, we're back in Dubai, and we're really pressing. The problem we had now at the time was what we had originally wanted to build was evolving and changing. The people we had entrusted with the development of these projects
Blame game. Always the blame game.
Focus enough to get these projects off the ground. There was always a new idea, a new venture, a new this, a new that, and it was driving us crazy.
So how did it change? Like, what are we talking about now in terms of a project?
So we went from crypto liquidity pools to now a tech platform that promotes projects called Seed Hunter.
Oh,
and they needed, I think, $3 million or $2 million into that. And for us, we took the approach was this is our lifeline. So we need to keep these guys happy because we need our fund operating. So of course we invested in the Seed Hunter. You know, I think it was like.
So we did a bit of research, and we have done other research, and this is the person, the co-founder of Seed Hunter, former group executive officer of the Moon Group. So I don't know, I chat to Carl Moon quite regularly. He claims that he wants his name removed from Christopher and he had nothing to do with Goliath Ventures. But we keep going back. And this is where our investigation can continue, where people provide us information. So Junaid, is that right? Junaid Dar, Seed Hunter, and also he used to be the chief executive officer of the Moon Group, right? So this is the person that may have some connections. Now, we're not saying that this guy's guilty of doing anything wrong. I don't know anything about Seed Hunter personally. Well, I do know a little bit, but not enough as much. But we want to know what the association was with Christopher Delgado and Nick Petrillo and Jay Newton. Because these guys, in my opinion, first glance, looks like these guys are all doing the same type of activities. Now, if I'm wrong, then tell me what exact activities you were doing with Christopher so we can clear up our investigation.
$2-3 million we ended up investing. So then that gets developed, or that's getting in development. But then I remember having this conversation vividly.
I just realized who that is.
The whole model of the plan changes.
The plan.
So instead of just now providing crypto liquidity, now we have they wanted to build a fund that provides crypto liquidity, that provides trading, that provides a tech platform for projects, that provides Bitcoin mining. This is how we got into Bitcoin mining.
What?
We, contrary to what people say on there, we own containers in Dubai.
No, you didn't. No, you fucking didn't. You piece of shit. Oh my God. Containers. Right. So these are not containers. These are the containers here. Look, you guys have no idea what this guy is just talking through. All right. So here we go. These containers here were a concept containers. If you look at the lady in the background down here, this container is a demo container. We've even found the company behind that were launching these containers. This was a concept. That's the word I'm looking for. These containers were $250,000 to buy. They were digitally split into 10 investment portfolios. They had cheap power. They even had a premises for them. Now, this is not Goliath. This is the company. The logo on the door here. I'm going to find this. You know, oh, hello. Nice to see you in here, Dante. Dante, if you want to be here, this is Dante impersonating somebody else, claiming to be this individual. We know who you are, Dante. It's nice to see you here. Well, if you want to offer some construction stuff, that's good. But we know this is you, Dante. So you can't hide. All right? So if you want to be here, and you're more than welcome to be here, but if you want to be here under I'm going to make your name a bit bigger. So your cover's been blown, mate. Not that tricky, is it? I'm just making sure your measures there. So speak away. It'd be good to have your 2 cents worth on today's show, because you're in yesterday's show. We did a bit of research, found out who you are. Nice to see you here. And also, the reason I know it's Dante is because the individual in the photo isn't the correct individual. It's a something else going on there. So it's quite cool. Let's see what we've got. It feels like a callback to his burger days. Sorry, the font's all mucked up. I don't know how to get that consistent. Paying for favors. Yeah, anyway, I just wanted to highlight that. And while we're talking to him, I will see if I can actually find the actual company that was setting up those containers, just to prove that point, that they were not his containers, and that is a straight lie. There's absolutely no proof that they had containers, and they were these containers were not theirs. This was another white labeled service, if anything.
Mine crypto, or that mine Bitcoin. I own 30% of Maze Mining. By the amount of money we've invested into these companies.
Excellent. Maze Mining. So that's exactly what I'm trying to look for. So he's claiming there he owned 30% of Maze Mining. Maze Mining. Let's see if I've got Maze. I'm sure we set up Maze. I'm just going to see if I've got, because I'm sure mining. Maze Mining. Merged. Crypto mining. We're going to get way offline here in a minute if I don't get back on target. Mining race. Oh, they're merged. Let's have a look. Christopher. Let's see. I'd love to find actually where he says that. But anyway, I'll keep looking what he's raving on about. So he's claiming he owned 30. I think we had some knowledge of that. But anyway, so it wasn't him. He owned 30% of a company theoretically that he was claiming that they were. A minute ago, didn't he just say he owned, wasn't he saying that was his company? Now he's saying he owns 30% of a company who's doing something, a concept.
So it's not that we didn't have an effort to try to get these things up and running. It's just we had the wrong operators. Right. And to that aspect, because now we're going into a regulated fund, we have to now pay as a regulated fund, which means you can only get a distribution every quarter, which means your money's locked up for a year. So the model now isn't working for us, because we can't now switch people that have been with us the last year and a half to say your money's now locked and you're going to a quarterly payout.
Did you ever notify any of the investors that things were shifting?
Good question, darling.
Changing?
We had told them that things would change over time, that we would change models and
That's
structures.
A no?
But what's that saying? You're
keep the enemies closer?
You're a product of your own demise, or what's that?
Oh my God. You're a victim of your own demise?
I had now allowed people
self-sabotaging?
to get close to me. I had now built relationships with our investors.
They trusted you.
And it was
they didn't ask any questions.
The worst thing that I could ever have done. Because the minute I wanted to change things that would better for the investors, was better for the company, it was never looked into the light that Chris is making these decisions for the betterment of the company and our money.
How did that work out for you?
Their thought process was, what's wrong with the company?
Oh.
Why does the company, like, the biggest change of the percentages wasn't because the fund that we were building couldn't produce those. The biggest change why we
Delusional.
went from
Absolutely
6, 7,
delusional.
8 to now 3 and 4 is because the fund got too big, where you would talk to one person, he offer you 5, and you talk to the other person, he offer you 6. You know, it was like, it became now a battle within the company of who's going to get the best deal. And so I had to put my foot down and say, this is madness. You guys are a team. You guys are working together. Why are you guys causing, once you're making us look like fools out on the streets, but second, you're now fighting with your team over a couple bucks. So we had to structure
Couple of bucks
to say, okay, it's capped. This is what you can offer. These guys are making millions of dollars.
Oh my God, he's pleading with everyone at the moment. So I'm not the investigator you thought. So I'm not the person I thought you was a better investigator, sir. Okay, so who are you then? Why do I have to make the guessing game then? Are you saying you're not Dante? Okay, so who are you then? You know, make my life easy. And as Susie said, he says he owns 30%. Who owns it? Was this a product that he was setting up for Goliath? I'm glad we're on the same page with this, Susie. It's so cool. So do the investors really own 30%? Is that something else that we can recover? Can that go into the Goliath Ventures estate then, that you own 30% of May's mining? I'm actually trying to find May's mining at the moment, because I think that would be really interesting just to bring it up, because we've looked at that. Because when we saw the logos on those containers, we actually searched and found the actual company behind them. And we've reached out to May's Mining in the past. How do we spell May's Mining? Have you spelled that for me, Susan? I'm just going to do a search in the database, because I'm sure, or maybe you could find it in the database for me and send me that. I'm sure we had a card set up here. Where are we? May's Mining. I just wish I could find it. But anyway, let's carry on, Chris. Tell us what else you've got assets in.
A year. I'm pouring millions of dollars into a lifeline to get our company right.
No, you're not pouring millions of dollars. Investors are losing millions of dollars because you're trying to make the illusion come alive.
And to protect people's money.
Protect people's money? You just bought another sports car.
It was like I said, it was me getting close to the investors, me having a close relationship with my team.
Yeah.
Was my biggest fault.
Oh my God. He's going to have no friends in prison.
So while all this is happening, no funds really, the development is not happening. There's frozen assets.
Oh, that's good questions.
Goliath is still taking in investors, still building.
Yeah, you're still stealing money.
Like, we get to the middle of 2024 now, what?
We're trying to polish things up.
We're trying to polish stuff up.
2024, I'm trying to polish the team. I'm investing into their development. I'm investing into the development still of our products.
How many investors do you have now, and how much money have they given you?
So I actually never knew the true number of investors. Again,
oh my God.
I think the biggest misconception out there, and the biggest thing is, I was the showman.
I was a showman.
I was the face.
I was just a toy boy.
You know, everyone wanted to be like Chris. Everyone wanted to be Chris. Everyone wanted. People would say I had this aura around me that was just so fascinating and intriguing.
The same thing from middle school, from high school.
And so I was just there to have drinks and hang out with people.
Oh, paid alcoholic.
To fly, you know. Nick and the team would use it as more of a pressure point. Like, you know, one of our biggest hubs was in New York City. you know. So, you know, Nick had a big medical business out in Jersey and in New York City.
Not anymore.
And he started bringing in those investors. But if things didn't go Nick's way, you know, I'm going up there to have fun, go to a Yankee game or whatever. They're using it as like, Chris is on the jet right now and he's on his way and he's not happy.
Chris is on the jet, and they owe $723,000
You know, it was like
to the jet
pressure
company, ladies and gentlemen.
tactics that they would use, you know. But like I said, I have never solicited a dime in my company.
What
I
is
have
he?
never sat
Lifestyle
at an
marketing, Chris. Do you not
investor
know what that does?
and say, this is why you should give me your money.
Oh my God, this just gets better and better. Go and ask it, Darlene. I know you want to.
During that same time, how much did you take in?
Excellent.
I actually didn't take in any money. The company paid for
Same thing, Chris.
my expenses.
Harry J.
I had a
Samuels.
salary, and my original salary
Hey, Rob, nice to
was,
see you, mate.
I believe, 150 or 170. No, 250. Sorry, my original salary was 250,000 a year. And then
You could pay consultants $80,000
you know, I wanted
a
to
month
buy
to write your
things.
newsletters,
I
Chris.
wanted to buy a nicer car. I wanted to, you know,
Look the part.
look
Buy a
at
new
different
watch.
things that required financing.
Oh my God.
But I
this is
didn't
so-
make enough. I didn't make enough money on paper, even though I had millions of dollars in my bank account.
Oh, it's just bullshit. Shut up,
I
Chris.
didn't make enough on paper.
You're not making any sense.
So the salaries now are being paid out of the money that you're bringing in from investors.
Yeah.
At any point, does someone say, hey, we probably shouldn't do that because the funds,
No.
what we're trying to build isn't working?
That was the problem. Every time every time I try to change something in
Everyone
Goliath,
didn't listen to Chris.
all the directors would come back and say, well, what's wrong with the company? Or why do I have to do that? For example, we started everyone in Orlando, and I'm talking to everyone,
Everybody.
the who's who down to the nobodies, wanted to
That'd
be a
me.
director in my
I'm happy to be a
company.
nobody.
These guys are making hand over fist cash. I've had one of the
Where you
most
from,
prominent
Chris?
people in Orlando stop his company because he wanted to be a director in my company.
Who's that?
It never happened, but because of that
Why are we talking about it?
demand, we created like a broker fee. So you pay $5,000 as a director, you pay $5,000 once a month to the company, plus 20% of your commission back to the company. No different than a real estate broker. And that was the fee. Even implementing that, knowing that because we had big expenses coming up, I had a strategic meeting with my team and I showed them the expenses of our company. This was, I believe, in March of 25. We were at a burn rate of $3.5 million a month, just in operating expenses,
God.
salaries, office equipment, whatever it might be, corporate travel, whatever it is. We're about $3.5 million in a month burn rate.
Oh my goodness.
So I was showing them why the company was taking,
And he only got paid
20%
$250,000 a
commission
year.
back.
Have you ever heard the saying plausible deniability?
Yeah.
What do you say to people who will see this and they'll say, this guy insulated himself and ignored all the signs so that he could have plausible deniability?
Again, you have to go back to intention.
Intent. Don't forget intent.
I built Goliath because it was changing people's lives, and it was
Yeah,
working.
it changed Peter's life for the
And
worse.
we wanted to
not the
make
better.
sure that we can continue it. So we were building. We weren't just relying on the fund we were white labeling. We were building our own system. We were investing in other things.
Yep.
And I always communicated that.
Okay.
But as you're doing these things, you need people.
Yeah. You
You
need money.
need people to
People
come
means
in
money.
either to protect you or to help you run things.
Yep.
And so when we started growing, compliance became one of the big issues. So we hired a compliance firm. We hired compliance officers, and we showed them what we were doing, and we showed.
Okay, so while Chris is showing them what we're doing, I've been working in the background here, hopefully to get something intelligent to show you. So this is actually the company called Maze Mining. So if we go to Maze Mining, I just picked apart their website. This was the containers that they were claiming that they were ready to go. This company actually, I believe, from my research, never actually got off the ground. And Christopher just claimed that he owns 30% of this company. Now, we'll do a bit of research on that. But going through the website, I stumbled across another domain name, and this domain name is no longer active. And you can see crypto mining in Dubai. Mining has never been easier. No technical knowledge, no experience required. Just invest with us and we will run an end-to-end mining operation and send you Bitcoin to your wallet. So if I go to Goliath Ventures, right, just bear with me for a second. I didn't actually do this in time. I might be able to actually stumble my way across here quickly enough. If we go to here, I think I've actually got archive version of the website, clickable. There we go. All right, so, and also Susie did put some addresses, wallet addresses in the chat room earlier on. So if you're in here and you have paid Christopher money and you want to help us with our investigation continue, then you can, if you were paid any money into this wallet address, which is Chris, we would love to hear from you. So I just had that open just to reiterate that. So now we just get rid of a couple of other things. We're back to this, and hopefully we'll be able to get rid of that. We'll get rid of that video now. We'll get rid of that. We'll get rid of that explanation. And this is Goliath Ventures. So if you went to Goliath Ventures website, you can actually see all the partners that were part of the company and promoting the company. That's our best grab of all these individuals. If I went to the, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this now. I'm actually opened up the wrong page. Hopefully we can go back. We can't. We're just going to have a few minutes interlude here. So we'll just go to archive and we'll go to Goliath Ventures. You'll see on the homepage of their website that they were portraying that they were a crypto mining company. And this is where they were encouraging people to think that they were. So when you first go to the Goliath Ventures website, you saw these containers. And we've also got the videos, and I don't know where I've got them. I've got them somewhere. And they actually removed the brand names from the containers. So we often talk about co-conspirators and we talk about Rice Curry, Gary Rice. Gary Rice is their videographer. We found a Vimeo account from a website development company, and we found all these videos promoting these Maze computers to our Maze. And then we found the same videos, but they edited out the part of Maze mining. So this was a crypto mining company. We should actually ring them up and ask them whether they actually have a relationship with Goliath Ventures, because Chris has just admitted that 30% of that company is actually owned by them. And I'm just curious now if I click on About Us. Anyway, hopefully that would have loaded now. No, we still haven't got a load. Let's try another page. Please wait. Being verified. That didn't work very well, Danny. Maybe we just go... nothing works when you want it to. Let's see if we can go to the next page and we just might be able to tin it. No, not that grab. Maybe the next one. Wait, and it's going to crash. Oh, forget about that. But anyway, on the homepage of their website, which has now been taken off the internet, we found that they had a big miner on there. And as I said, all the videos. Boy, I would love to email this company. Anyway, we've got more research to do. Obviously, we'll carry on listening to Chris, and I'll see if I can get this going, and maybe we can give you a bit more explanation.
The struggles we're having and where we needed to go.
Oh, good on you, Susie.
The problem is they were seeing the money and they were blinded by that.
Everybody was blinded by the money.
Everyone, even Chris.
They were blinded by the money, and they knew if this thing fell, There's only one guy.
Yeah.
And so they knew that it was a calculated risk.
Okay. What's your point, Chris?
They knew if Goliath fell, whose face is everyone seeing?
Oh, poor Chrissy boy.
Chris's.
Oh, poor Chrissy baby.
A compliance officer and an auditor never came to you and said, man, this is shady. This is sketchy. This is not going to work.
Right, and this is where I want to step in. There is one individual, which I put my neck out in a bit of a line for, and I don't know the ins and outs of every conversation. We're not privy to them. But there was one individual that demanded to see the books. And because Christopher wouldn't show the books, he's basically now trying to trash him and ruin him and drag him into this, which is quite interesting. That's my opinion, and I'm entitled to it because I've got a lot more information about this whole thing than most people. So this is the only person that ever challenged Chris about the books has been tarnished his reputation because Chris couldn't give him fake books. But anyway, let's listen to see how this next few minutes unfolds, because this is where shit gets real.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
You're a bookkeeper and you make $3,500 a month at your job, in a normal corporate job. Or you go work for my company and making $25,000 a month and live a pretty cool lifestyle, have a pretty cool boss. We're kind of in the heat, in the midst of everything right now.
Yeah.
But there was a time where I was the most adored person in Orlando. There was a time where
Give me a bucket.
people were calling me a strong pillar of this community. People are seeing my reach, not only into politics, but into schools and into charities and into how much I did for this community. I was adored. People wanted to work for that guy.
Okay. You say so.
And so they weren't paid to look a other way. They wanted to look the other way because they wanted to work for me. They wanted to be part. Like I said, we had people wanting to pause their companies that do very well in Orlando. Some people who live in my community wanted to be directors for my company.
Did you ever seek counsel from an attorney to say, like,
Oh, here we
hey,
go.
can you look at this?
Can't blame the attorneys.
I paid hundreds of thousands of dollars in counsel.
Who to, Chris? What was the name of the company that you paid it to? Was it an individual? I mean, I've got information here where somebody writing their newsletters were getting $80,000 a month. The person writing Christopher's newsletters, which is about 24 of them, $80,000 a month.
Our agreement got kicked back, and they were like, we think you're selling a security. Not kicked back, sorry. In March of 25, 2 investors called.
Here we go.
And said, the SEC reached out and they have questions about Goliath.
Really? Why's that?
And so we knew at some point the SEC was probably going to come looking.
Why would you say
Because
that?
you weren't registered.
Yeah.
Oh.
We weren't registered. A lot of people were talking.
None of these investors said, hey, are you registered?
Even when the bad media hit,
Bad media.
they never questioned that. They just wanted an extra percent, or they wanted an extra 0.5%, or they wanted to know if their commission was coming.
That's sickening. Really is.
That's why I'm saying, like, a lot of the company operated you would think that a lot of things would make logical sense. Yes, you get to over $200 million, you get to over 500 investors. You would think at some point someone would be like, they're seeing the Christmas parties. I mean, we threw a Christmas party in Orlando. We rented out the whole 4 seasons, the largest event that they've ever held. they ever held.
$9 million.
700 people there.
$1,000 a night accommodation.
You would think one person would ask if we were registered with the SEC. They didn't care.
They didn't care?
On the second part, we always joked that in the contracts it could say thank you for funding the lifestyle, because no one read the contracts. I think out of the 1,200
I read them.
contracts we ever sent out,
3 minutes of reading and I knew it was a
4
Ponzi
people had
scheme.
questions, 4 people had changes.
So the contract says you have a baseline of $100,000 that you have to give me. You got a baseline of $100,000 and 4 people had questions about this contract that guaranteed returns of 6, 8, 10%?
Yeah.
Come on, Chris.
And it wasn't even like crazy questions. One person didn't want to have mediation in Broward County, so they changed it to Orange. One person didn't like the termination clause. You know, it was like the weirdest picks, you know, of you should have used a comma here instead of and. Like, it was like the weirdest.
Nothing like, how are you guaranteeing me this?
But again, also too, I wasn't having these conversations. I don't know what was happening behind closed door. I was never a part of those conversations. And even when I've asked to join, to say, oh, you got a dinner tonight, I'll come by. No, there's no need. We don't want to bother you. We don't want to, you have a lot going on. And again, when things started unfolding and when things started coming to light, I now know why they didn't want me in those conversations. Because they were deal rooms.
Oh my God.
What do you mean? Like the side deals that they made?
Yeah, so your question was, no one questioned the contract. Well, because they're in the deal room. The person, the smartest
London
person
Club.
who should have questioned the contracts were in the deal rooms.
Wow, she's going. Should have been following
So
this.
you're in March of 2025 and
And the reason for that is we get notified that the SEC is doing an exploratory look. The exact words were a very private, the SEC told one of our investors, it's a very private exploratory look into Goliath. So no need to make any noise, no need to notify us.
why were they convinced that you weren't selling the security?
You know, it's a joint venture. You can cancel anytime. Your money's not locked up. We're not buying and holding crypto. There's a lot of things. You know, they're doing the Howey test, and the only part where we failed in the Howey test was we weren't allowing our investors to vote on things.
Oh, wasn't a.
That's where we decided to create the
Wasn't a
advisory
Zell?
council. So we would have people outside of Goliath who are investors advise the company, and they would basically be the voting party of the changes that would happen in the company.
So the boys would get together and
That
smoke
was
a few
really the
cigars
only kind of stress
at
test
London
on
House.
being a true joint venture partnership. Then your investors need to vote in some manner.
Did you feel more comfortable after that?
Felt untouchable.
Oh, wow.
I felt untouchable because massive law firm just gave us the golden stamp of approval. We have compliance officers and a compliance company are reviewing everything.
What? Okay, so a massive legal company. He's not obviously talking about whatever he's claiming because he's a defense attorney. What was the name of the company that you're referring to, Chris? And also, what did he just say? I don't want to repeat it, but I do.
Through joint venture partnership, then
A massive legal company.
Investors need to vote in some manner.
Did you feel more comfortable after that?
Felt untouchable.
Untouchable.
I felt untouchable because massive law firm just gave us the golden stamp of approval.
Rubbish.
We have compliance officers and a compliance company are reviewing everything. Our Dubai operations is
So Matt Burks, a parish, not even a regulated financial advisor, was running a company that was doing independent audits, which was meant to be independent audits, but we later found out that they weren't. Absolutely batshit crazy. Anyway, let's go
finally
on.
off the ground and running. I just needed to figure out one piece.
Which was?
How do I cut commissions and how do I move money into our fund?
Did you ever figure it out?
No.
Not till it was too late.
Not until it's too late. Wait until he shows you his phone call.
You know,
Tell us about your Dubai phone number, Chris.
a lot of people don't know that Madoff didn't collapse
Oh my God.
because of 0809. Madoff collapsed because of his overhead.
Oh. So you
And
were
when
trying
they
to...
brought in a mathematician, even though that they couldn't build the model that Madoff was using, because obviously the model didn't exist.
The model wasn't a model.
What they did come back with was his overhead.
He was paying people too much money. And he was paying too many people.
It's a Ponzi scheme. And this is something, you know, from our perspective, busting these Ponzi schemes and scams, and we've seen a few, our Avengers, my Avengers. And they honestly, I believe they get to the point where they believe in themselves so much, they actually think they can mathematically work this and sustain this. They really do. They really believe. I've seen it time in, time out, you know, that these people just think there's enough silly people out there that will keep investing, not realizing, and once they get momentum, it's just about impossible to stop until it crashes and the money runs out. And that's why, you know, unfortunately, Chris has got no money left because he's trying to keep the illusion alive. As he's going to say in a few minutes, he had somebody that was alleging they were going to invest 50 million, and then they had another person that was going to invest 200 million. And that's how, and then they would have restructured the company to do another mathematical equation. And that's how crazy it really is.
To Goliath Ventures. We were paying too much money to too many people. And the minute I tried to intervene,
Too many cars, Chris.
and fix it, I was always halted. I was always pushed back against. And
You were the CEO. I mean,
yeah. Listen, there were times I had to take hard stances. There were times where I was like,
don't do it. I'm taking a shit.
I'm the CEO. I don't care. This is what we're doing. You're right.
Nick.
But again,
out, did he?
getting too close to people, letting people in, seeing the impact on multiples of people, not just your team, but the reach that we had in our community, in our investment group, everywhere. And you try to make a change, now you have that force in of telling you no. So yes, there were things and times where I'm like, I don't really care what people say, this is the change.
Correct.
And then there were times where I should have just...
Shoulda, coulda, woulda.
What I should have done is, if we're still going by the playbook, not the logic playbook that you that you want to give in early 23. Yes, listen. It would be a much different conversation sitting down with the authorities and saying we had a vehicle, it froze, people lost money. We wouldn't really be liable for that, or have a very less liability, and moved on. But every year should have started at zero. Like every year we should have.
And this is exactly what I'm talking about here, is they think that they can keep the illusion alive, and they think the only downfall they've got is the fact that they could have restructured the company. And he was well aware of the bleed rate, 3.5 million a month. And if he could get that rate down and incoming exceeded that, he would have worked out that he needs $40 million a year to keep this company going. Hence why he was excited when he found some idiot out there that was going to put $50 million into it. But he doesn't realize that that idiot had already lost over millions and millions and millions of dollars. And he was only saying that because he was hoping that they would give him his money back. If he gave them the illusion that he was going to invest more, he was hoping they would have released his millions so that he could get out of Goliath Ventures. But Christopher must have taken the bait on that.
Restructured everyone and just started everyone at zero. It would have allowed us to get back on track.
Back on track for what? Running a
So
Ponzi
like
scheme.
now we're in the summer, and I think at this point now you've given to many charities.
Oh, here we go. Don't forget, we've got
Well, no, I
15
wanna back
charities on
up.
their website, right?
Because at some point you
Let's
saw
just focus on one of them, shall we?
counsel or maybe had a conversation with the very high profile attorney here.
So this is the crap part that I don't like. She has already pre-prepared the questions, and she is trying to control the narrative. And it infuriates me because right now I've been talking to the Sentinel newspaper, and they are actually going to feature another charity that has taken at least $200,000 more than the charity they're about to talk to about. And I just think it's a shame that they've focused on, one of those names. I'm just looking up something interesting here. I always do this. I'm going to show you something what I'm doing because it's always interesting. But this is Goliath Ventures, right? But I always look up that domain name by mistake. And now I'm curious to think what that domain name actually had in it. But if we just go back to the right one, this is why I probably couldn't bring up what I did before. But anyway, just side looking up stuff. Some other things while I've just got you on these screens. So I did look up. There was a guy called Blake, and he was part of a company called Webology. And we actually saw that he did all the videos for Chris, and we wrote to him. And we asked them exactly what their involvement was for producing the videos. And before long, when you go to his LinkedIn, instead of answering my emails, he just blocked me. So this is what we got time in, time out, and time again. So when we went to his VinMe channel, instead of these videos being here, there were all the videos of the containers for maize that were chopped up. One video that was there was this video, and we thought they may have been using this video to give the illusion that they were expanding maize, and this was their a new, what do we call it, mining center or whatever it was. And that's what we were investigating at the time. But this is all part of the investigation. I'm not saying this guy's involved in Goliath Ventures or anything like that. But now we do have a profile on here, basically associating that company, because Christopher's just said that this is he owns 30% of this company, even though this company never got off the ground. And this was their way of getting 8 to 10% return for people. And, can you imagine how much money you'd have to generate to actually pay out people 8 to 10% per month on their investments? I mean, those figures are unheard of for a reason. Anyway, let's get back to Chris and see what other bullshit he can spew out.
How and why did that start?
That actually started in mid-September of 25, right after my birthday. The things were happening online,
Wait, you mean 24?
No, 25. when I was seeking counsel.
I'm
Seeking
talking about
counsel.
Mark Jane.
See,
Oh, that.
see, this is the thing is, Chris hasn't been, unless I've cut some big chunk of this out, Chris wasn't even talking about this person. And she's drawing out questions about, they obviously want to draw this conversation out of Chris.
Mark came into my life at a very interesting time. Maybe 22. I think 22, yeah, was my first time going to Runway to Hope. We had friends, their kid had cancer, and we were supporting them. And, you know, we gave generously, you know, in what we could. I think it was like, maybe 10 grand or, you know,
Yippee-yi-yi.
couple grand we gave. 23 came by, and that's when the spending got bigger with me. That's when we were really engaged with Runway to Hope. We grew closer with our friends who, you know, child had cancer. And because the organization helped their kids so much and they were close friends of ours, we wanted to be part of that community. So after Runway to Hope in 2023, I told myself I'm going to get in contact with Mark. I want to be the title sponsor. I want to see their work and get involved more. And this is coming from a father who has 3 kids too, and I couldn't fathom fighting for their life. Mm-hmm. And so I wanted to give as much as I could. January 2024, I'm getting ready for the gym. I'm at my house in Kings Point.
You'll be able to go to the gym every day of your life for an hour.
And I look down, my phone's ringing, and it says Mark James. And I'm like, perfect. I literally pick up the phone. I remember pick up the phone. I'm walking around my kitchen. And I'm like, hey, Mark. I'm like, I'm glad you called. I've actually been meaning to get in contact with you. And he goes, hey, Chris, I'm calling because I'm hearing rumors around town. And I think you're under investigation. And my heart sunk.
Really? Wonder who brought that all on you.
What I found out was people weren't talking about my company. I was the new hot thing on the block.
Oh my God!
I was the
Give me a
one
bucket.
getting all the attention.
Yeah.
All these guys that were it in Orlando were going to London House, and whether they're cheating on their wives or they were getting 2 or 3, 4 other girlfriends, whatever they were doing, they were no longer the star.
Well, we heard little rumours along the way that Christopher was giving the girls in London House cash to do favours in the toilets to the boys. Just a rumour. Do your own research.
Single, I'm attractive, charismatic, wealthy.
Wealthy. Stole a thief.
And the girls are closer to my age than they are to the...
What's your point there, Chris? Here we go. Talk about me. This is my first part where they talk about me.
So now you're somewhere in the summer, early fall, you find out you're under investigation for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, we had a great summer.
Yeah, great.
We had a great Labor Day. I went to Montauk with some friends. My first time there.
Oh, that's nice. Did you have a good time?
Some close friends. And I come back on the 2nd of September because my kids had something on the 3rd. And I woke up September 3rd with 100 text messages.
And Danny gave you a sing-along.
First article. Written.
That was our article, ladies and gentlemen. We were the one that busted this story. Even if Channel 9 News say that we aren't real journalism. We do investigative journalists. We put our neck along the line and we expose individuals like Christopher Delgado. We take the legal threats. We take the people that hunt us down, trying to find us. They tried to bribe me. They tried to bribe me into removing all my articles. Their lawyers put into paper that they would pay me $150,000 if I took down all my videos. It would be cheaper to pay me $150,000 and go through a lengthy lawsuit, so they claimed. But after refusing that offer, they staked out my neighborhood, found out where I lived, and knocked on my door, offering me a better deal, which I wouldn't have a bar of listening to unless I could record it. They wouldn't let me record it. What type of organization doesn't let people record a legitimate deal? This organization. These are the bottom feeders on the planet. Christopher is not a victim. This is not a nice story. He's a fraudster, and they've given him a camera, and now he's trying to throw other people under the bus because he wants to lessen his 50-year sentence he's going to get for doing this crime.
About me and my company. So I didn't think anything about that. You know, my heart sunk a little bit, and really, you know, it's the Windermere people or the Orlando people talking. And it was such a fixation on my lifestyle.
Because that's how you market yourself,
Chris. Such a fixation on, at the time I had hired someone in Orlando to do interior design for my homes. And it was a fixation on her lifestyle. And so I was just like, it's just a hit piece, you know, no one knows who this person is.
Well, they do now.
And even now, the person who writes all these articles gets 30 views on their channels. The problem is I didn't know that there was an arm in Orlando.
This is bullshit. So everyone thinks that Mark Najib's bankrolled me. That's what they keep insinuating. That's what they wanted me to tell them with the bribe of $150,000. No one has bankrolled me into writing about anything in my whole career. That's not how it works. I don't get any back-enders. I don't get any favors. I get donations. So if you want to donate me, that's what that support me at Ko-Fi link is all about. And this is what they were trying to do, was prove that this was a witch hunt from some local person. I got a copy of the contract like I normally do when I open up my emails in the morning, and I started the investigation. I investigated it for 2 or 3 days, and then I published an article about how I thought this was a Ponzi scheme, just looking at their own contract that he said that no one else reads. And that's how this started. But to insinuate on camera that someone had bankrolled me in it because they didn't like him doing very well around the town was just the biggest, dumbest lie that I've had to compete against. So it's just stupid. And I tell you what, even if my videos get 1 view, David and Goliath comes to mind. 1 stone took down the giant. 1 viewer took down this company. CoffeeZilla's video. He's been doing reporting for years. 4.2 million views. And it tells the true story about what happened with Goliath. Better story than Channel 9 News is doing here by giving this monkey a camera in his face.
That would spread it like wildfire. I had no idea that along this whole process I had created these enemies.
It's not about enemies.
You know, again, this is someone who, I guess my involvement in all the charities and the community, you know, I'm just trying to grow relationships, and I'm just trying to...
What for, though?
Yeah, really just grow my relationships within the city.
For business.
But I'm getting close to people.
Please hit the thumbs up too, if you wouldn't mind.
And that's what pissed people off, is that I'm getting close to certain families without kissing the ring of another family.
Ooh.
And I didn't know that there was this game. I didn't know that that's how these communities operated. I'm going to a dinner and I meet this person. You know, one of the individuals early on in our company, He graduated from UCF. He's, big there. He's trying to get close to one of the big benefactors, one of the big people that write checks to that school. That person was invested in my company. That person has invited me to their house to have cocktails. I think it's a good idea because I see it on Instagram. I reach out to him. I'm like, oh, how do you know this person? He's like, oh, I don't. I've been trying to get to know them. They're like a legend here at UCF. I was like, oh, anytime you need an intro or you want to go have a drink with them, you let me know. He's a really good friend of mine. I, in my mind, think I'm doing something good. I didn't know I was overshadowing them and pissed them off.
Since the overshadowing is, and like, I guess you wouldn't know that because, to go back to the beginning, you grew up poor.
You lived in a
You
trailer
don't
park for
know
2
how
months.
wealth really operates. You're kind of learning it on the job. At what point did you decide you needed the nice house, you needed the cars, you needed the Rolex, you needed all these fancy things? At what point did you decide that? And did you ever come to a realization that I'm using other people's money to buy these things? Because
Never
the
thought
money's
about it,
still
really.
frozen. Project's not off the ground.
I think I didn't use that logic because it was the same people telling me that I needed to have those things. I was fine commercial. I was happy. I was driving I bought a Corvette outside of Goliath, and then I traded in for a Porsche. I drive it to a lunch. One of the investors comments, nice mom car.
That's a mom car, huh?
I guess a Porsche,
Maybe an Isleworth it is.
yeah, a GTS Panamera is a sports mom car. I didn't know that. It's a Porsche.
So at that time, when I'm going broke, I thought it'd be a good idea to go out and buy 12 sports cars.
I didn't buy these things until comments were made, and then I was understanding the game,
The game.
Why don't you drive a Rolls Royce? So I buy a Rolls Royce. You own a Rolls Royce, but you don't own a Rolex?
18
Okay, well, I'm gonna go
Rolexes
buy a
later.
Rolex. I bought a Rolex with diamonds. So you don't buy a Rolex with diamonds. You buy a regular presidential, no diamonds. Maybe, diamond clock, but
Right.
each social circle had a different rules of engagement.
And you went after all of them.
I was at a charity event in 24. I thought I was doing good. I went toe to toe with the big Ellsworth person
What, Jackie Segal?
and beat him.
Who? Who are you talking about,
And
Chris?
you're talking in the hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Use everyone else's names. Be selective in what names you use.
I thought we were in a friendly bidding war.
Oh.
I thought it was, for me, it was an ego. For me, it was, we're in a bidding war, we're having fun, and we're doing it for a great cause.
If other people
And
stole
whoever's
money.
willing to stick their neck out the more is the winner. Well, I guess I embarrassed this person in front of Olive House.
Well, when he went to the White House, it was fentanyl day. Apparently, he bribed somebody $250,000 to get to be in the White House at this dinner where Jackie Segal was running a fundraiser for fentanyl day because her daughter unfortunately died from a fentanyl overdose or a drug overdose. And Christopher stands up and says to everyone, I pledged $2 million towards the charity. And now that we find out that out of that $2 million that he pledged, he only paid $250,000, which will be clawed back now. So these are the, he thought he was just having a friendly bidding war. Why would he stand up at a dinner in the White House and pledged to give away $2 million to charity. He has one objective, and that is to look at me, look at me, look at me. I'm Christopher. I do investments. Give me your money. And look how well I'm doing. It's lifestyle marketing. It's not rocket science, Chris.
Worth and all of Windermere and all of the who's who and a couple big family names that were there. And created an enemy.
An enemy. Oh my God, really?
But you're right.
Is it a
I
pissing
didn't
competition,
know,
Chris?
I don't know how wealth moves. I don't come from a trust fund.
He
My
come from a
dad didn't
stolen
run
fund.
a Fortune 50 company. My parents weren't millionaires. So I didn't know how money talked in silence.
How money talks in silence.
And these were the biggest learning experiences, that you don't let money talk by the watch or by the car.
Okay.
True wealth.
True wealth. New money, old money?
It's by the look,
Stolen money?
by the tailored
Earned
suit,
money.
by the subtleness of your shoes,
Okay.
by how you talk, even down to what you order.
How you order?
I used to
Don't
drink
eat pizza in a soup?
vodka cranberries or vodka pineapple, Malibu sunrises, margaritas. True wealth,
Scotch.
vodka on the rocks or club soda, Vesper martini, dirty, extra dirty.
Oh.
You build a level.
I usually just go have a hazy beer.
You're talking and dancing with someone in a silent language, and you never outshine the master.
Right. I see.
And
Life lessons,
that's what I learned.
Christopher Delgado,
at this
life
charity
lessons.
event
Here we come.
that I was at. I outshined the master.
Who's he
I
talking
didn't
about?
know that he was the guy known at this event. He was.
Even I don't
And
know who he's talking
everyone
about.
thought Runway to Hope was my show. Everyone was like, you don't go to Runway to Hope and you don't bet against Delgado.
Okay.
So they were in silence giving me my show.
Okay. Who are you talking
The
about?
problem
Chris?
is, word got around. Like, we need to invite this guy to our events
Oh.
because he likes to have fun. He likes to bid. He likes to
He gives
challenge
away everyone's
the
money.
wealthy in front of people, and in some cases embarrass them. Now, the events and charities, they love this. They're raising more money for great causes. But I guess I didn't realize the damage I was doing.
Yeah. You just damaged it.
You force people to give more money. Do you believe that?
Every charity has now broken records, has now raised more money. Because they didn't want to lose to the crypto guy.
Okay. Crypto guy.
We're sitting there and we're deal making. I'm going to let you win, but you have to buy it at 50,000. You're going to let me win, but I'm going to buy it at 60.
Okay.
We were at a charity event. Their biggest prize package, I think, went for $17,000 the previous year. I go there and it sells for $60,000. They were terrified that I was going to bid on it.
I'm terrified.
They started doing, instead of
He's
doing
the man.
the
Raising
the paddles. Buy it now before Delgado starts bidding, because I would be at the bar grabbing a drink, or I would be in the bathroom.
Oh, he's the man. He's going to
It
be the man
became
in
a
prison.
game in Windermere.
He's gonna
It became a game.
He's going to become the man in prison if he
Like,
gets
you're
it.
gonna get it on a 30% discount because Delgado's in the bathroom right now. So before he walks in, just So yes, I do believe that I force these people to invest more in their community. This community has given everyone everything that they can ever ask for.
Ta-da.
And the least you can do is support it. And listen, $100,000 doesn't mean to people that live in $10 million homes. Give them the $10,000 You're saving kids' lives.
Oh,
Everyone in the person, or
so
95% of those people in that room, have kids. I couldn't wake up one day as a parent knowing my kid has stage 3, stage 4 cancer, and I don't got the funds to fight for my own kid.
Oh,
But you're here sitting on your high horse in your castle and knowing 10 grand is life or death for this kid.
thanks for the votes in the poll there,
And
guys.
you can't even do that.
In the
What did
YouTube
this
chat.
world do to you? What wrong did this world do to you where you can't have some compassion for the same community that's going to praise you?
Here we hear.
That's why this community is just a cesspool of just, if I didn't step up and I didn't step in,
Oh, he saved the world now.
because they're all scared to challenge each other. Because they're all scared of what's happening to me is going to happen to them.
Oh, everyone's petrified, mate. I'm pissing my pants right now.
You think I'm the only one in Ellsworth that's accused of doing something wrong? You don't think there's
Accused?
dirt
He's just admitted guilt.
on half these people that live here? They all think money laundering is a way to save taxes.
Good point. How much taxes do you pay? You only earn
I
250,000
have
a year.
criminal complaint of money laundering. I had to have it explained to me what exactly that was. Again, because intention. I didn't go into this intent
Okay.
with operating an alleged Ponzi scheme.
All right.
These people that won't even help the community have intent of doing what they're doing and knowing they're doing it. The problem is they're all doing it together.
So just to reflect on that there, I've just managed to get this website going now, and we've got a nice picture. This isn't intent. This is Goliath Ventures' website. You see here, they're claiming on their website that they're bringing in money, blockchain technology they're investing in, liquidity pools, and Bitcoin mining. So he claimed that he owned 30% of the company that we are talking about here, mazeminer.com, which never got off the ground. And he's saying, and they had a concept container, but nothing actually ever happened. Liquidity pools, well, we've just been told by Christopher that he was actually white labeling NLP. Blockchain technology, who the hell knows what that means? But these are what they're claiming that they were doing, you see. So that's the intent. The intent was to tell people they were bringing in money from these three services. Accomplishments and acquisitions. We found out that these companies, if you click on read more and read all about them, literally they were telling people they were acquiring companies, but all these companies and all these things that they were acquiring were all in Chris's name. And then the day that he turned up here with this, well, it looks more than frosted tips today, he's gone blonde. He actually sat outside this complex. He I think he donated over 17 or 45,000 meals, but went to the event in a Lamborghini and sat outside and revved it up like he's a hero when they were doing meals for charity, which seems like a real conflict of interest. These were also the charities that he alleged that he was supporting. So it wasn't just Runway for Hope. The fact is that Mark was helping him in some way at the very start. And it was only when Mark challenged Christopher and Christopher wouldn't provide the books that Mark said, I don't want anything to do with you anymore. Mark has only been the biggest foghorn out there ever exposing this. And that's why he's going after Mark. This is a facade. This is a bunch of poos and wees, whatever. But all these charities here, we contacted this is an old version of the website, but we contacted these companies. What am I trying to say? We contacted these companies and asked them, did they know about Goliath Ventures? It was absolutely ridiculous. So, and they a lot of them, only 3 companies come back to us. One of them said that they gave a donation of $300 2 years ago. They received a donation. What am I trying to say, Danny? For $300 2 years ago, and their names were listed on the website. Mark also came back to us and told us whatever we wanted to know. And there was another company as well. I think it was Kids Beating Cancer, Sam. He come back to us and wanted to talk to us on the phone and never got around to it. They were the only 3 companies we've got replies to. So all those warning messages that we put out there, I've actually forwarded them all to the Sentinel newspaper, who are going to do a story about the companies that we tried to warn. Absolutely brilliant. Oh, you're back again, Howie. Nice to see you here. So, Danny, you know better than anyone. Do you think he's going to get the 5K one letter from the government? The 5K one letter. I don't actually know what you mean. What am I saying? So, Danny, you know better than anyone. Do you think he's going, who's he, Christopher, going to get the 5K one letter from the government? Don't quite know what you mean there, mate. I read the transaction of his last court appearance. The government has taken back all the donations that he gave. Yeah, so here's Christopher claiming that he's a philanthropist, giving to all the charities, and he's a good guy, knowing that the clawbacks would come into effect. Hey, just while we've been talking, we've got some photos here. A lot of people are worried that these co-conspirators will get away with it. This is July 24th, 2023, and this is Alex and obviously Chris going away for another joyride. Just some photos that may be of interest. I've seen this one here in their newsletters before. You can see Alex wearing the papel. I don't know who these 2 guys are on the left, but I'm guessing they're a couple of investors. There's Christopher wearing his Rolex, which looks like it's got diamonds on the hand, just saying. Here they are in Dubai, which is pretty cool. And you've got Mike and you've got Vince Grietta. I think that's Vince. Is that right? Am I got that right? Well, I've got that. It's not Punic Shore. I think it is Vince. I forgot who the guy on the left is already. Mike, it might have been. Here's Mike. You've seen this is pretty iconic. And these are just some photos that I just received while we're live. I always like to show them live. So I put them in my folder. If you didn't know, this is actually Alex's house. Not bad for somebody who's a personal trainer. And this was his Lamborghini that got crashed, which I think he's now taken to Nick's place. But I will keep those photos on there. So if you've got any evidence like that, don't think that we don't want it. We really do. Remember, even all the names of all the companies that we were seen associated to Christopher is pretty out there. And we've done some amazing research, which I must say is world class, just say myself. But if you went to this here, we actually hired a company and they did every company that was registered from Harry J. Samuels that touched hands with anyone that was a director and the like. And that's sort of what they did. And we've actually got that on a blog somewhere if you did a search for it. 62 emails. What have we got here? All the email addresses of all the people that we saw using, Goliath Ventures. What have we got here? We've got PDFs coming out of ears. This isn't our full database and this isn't public. What else have we got here? Contracts, people's names on them. These are all the newsletters that we've got. So you can actually see, if you open up some of these newsletters, you can see Christopher here writing newsletters, the Speaker of the House. And when we noticed their emails in their newsletter chain, that was a MailChimp's database. We've actually, ironically, so here they are here. Look at this, guys. You'll laugh at this one. I just caught my eye. Outside a container, and I haven't even seen this, but now it makes more sense. So this was November 2024. Here's the containers that were owned by Maze Mining. And I believe Christopher just made the admission that he owned 30% of that company. What's new? So we have got all those letters. We have actually loaded them all into AI and had them all broken down. But you can actually, if you really want to, you can see here, Goliath eventually. Oh, this is so funny. I have to go through these newsletters because we're so much more educated now. So we've got all these guys endorsing Christopher about the event presents. I don't even know what they are. Christopher. Is that London House? Is that what's the name under here? London something. London. I can't even read that. But isn't it funny that all this here? So all these photos, I have to go back and look through all these photos again. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to have some sleepless nights when they go through all this stuff. Making an impact with strong focus on community growth. This is the event. Christopher walking in. Oh, look, they even had latte with their name on it. The VIP lounge. Oh, my goodness. More money going down the track in alcohol. The news. Blockchain is not limited to block currency transactions. News. So maybe we need to go through some of this old stuff. But does it matter? What do you guys want from us? Like, what can we do now other than naming and shaming individuals? But, don't forget, we have the whole database. We have everything you can think of. Every bit of correspondence that's come out of their coffers, we managed to track and trace, which is absolutely breathtaking. Like, what's this one here? I'm curious now. Do this in my own time, you should say. Don't know what partners. Oh, boy. If we put this all on a big timeline thing, it would be really, really cool. Oh, my goodness. I remember watching this video here. We must look at this again. Christopher talking about how he made his millions. So funny. Accomplishments 2025. Expanding blockchain system. Looking ahead. Maybe you can pause my video if you want to read that. Our impact. Community strong. Oh, Punic Shore. Look at all these photos. Old Punic Shore, eh? Meant to be a real nice guy. Totally didn't know it was a scam. Is that right? Look at this, eh? Who are these individuals? Goliath Art. They've got music playing. Cigar Lounge. Goliath Ventures. Tampa. Oh boy, look at this. Bodyguard photos, isn't it? Is that Bodyguard? Who are these guys? I know. Well, who's the guy on the left? Anyone know? Who's the guy on the right? I think that's Bodyguard, isn't it? And then you've got Hunter Smallback. It's just stakeholders. All the promotions. Look, impact. So here's the thing. Like, here they are giving to these charities. As I said, on their website, they had 15 charities. One of them they donated $300 to in 24 months. And then they have all their logos splattered over their website. And, there's no Runway and Hope on this one. So why haven't you mentioned all these other charities? Oh, I have. Runway to Hope. It's down there after all that. Take it back. Anyway, so we've got all the stuff. If anyone ever wants any of those files, please do let us know. Now, Howie, you're back. I know it's not the real Howie because I've researched who you really are. A wee while ago, I gave out my Signal address. Do you know how Signal works? You can actually sign up for Signal and keep yourself anonymous if you really want to. If you want to have a conversation, you're more than welcome. There's my Signal address. Anyway, let's go back to listen to the last parts of Christopher telling you why he stole $400 million from people. And that's what it's really all about, isn't it, guys? Trying to recover whatever's left of this guy's
Chris,
money.
this is a movie.
I know. It's a sad movie.
At any point, did you ever sit and say, like, man, I am donating to charities. I am buying another house, another car, another watch. And like all of this is not my money.
No.
Like, did you ever feel bad about that?
No. Come on, Chris.
It wasn't that thought process because we were building something.
Oh, rubbish.
And
You're running a scam, a Ponzi
we just had to
scheme.
change the internal structure. And you know, I only bought a house for my kids because I just
This is the part I was thinking of. This is where he tells you that the kid was going to get kidnapped and he had to go buy him a new house where they lived at the time. They were in a gated community, and now he's going to move the kid to a new, bigger and brighter house that isn't in a gated community to protect the kid.
just bought in Andy an Escalade, and it got stolen out of her front yard in Apopka. Not only did it get stolen, but my kid was taking out the trash. In 2 minutes after he dumped the trash on the sidewalk and walked back and closed the garage, someone jumped in the car and stole her car, which means they're watching my kid.
They're watching his kid for 2 minutes.
Take the trash out. My kid could have been kidnapped.
Oh my God, let's stretch that one as far as it can go.
So I wasn't buying a house to buy a house to have another multi-million-dollar house. I was moving them into a safer community.
Oh, let's go buy them $1 million house to protect
I was
them.
protecting my family.
You ever thought about hiring a guard instead?
Everything that I did, like I said, there was greed for necessity, and then there was greed for greed. But I didn't operate 90% on greed for greed. I was operating greed and necessity because people were positioning me and saying, you need to do this, you need to have this, you need to operate this way, you need to go here and do this and do that. It would make me more comfortable if you vacationed in Montauk. It'd make me more comfortable if you took out a yacht, it's 200 feet. So it's like you're kind of
a victim.
It's a double-edged sword.
Hear you. Don't believe it. But
people have a image of what a successful, fun CEO looks like. You know, maybe Hollywood has ruined that. They look at Jordan Belfort and, you know, and they look at Bernie Madoff and they look at all these massive wealthy people that had the houses and the cars and so they, in their mind, they think, you know, I gotta ask, why don't you fly private? I'm fine flying commercial. You know, and I would fly private on occasion, but it was really just to make it back for my kids, you know, baseball or soccer game or
17-hour flight to go to the kids' baseball game. That's what he's going to tell you next.
But, you know, I'd go to Dubai, I'd fly business class or first class. I'd travel domestically, commercially.
This is a man that used to flip
But then you
burgers.
meet people and they're like, why aren't you flying private? I thought you were successful.
Oh.
I thought you did all this stuff, you know?
Yeah.
So you kind of become, it's a product of something. I forget how they name it.
Product of your success.
Yeah.
Yeah. Victim of your own demise. That's what I like to call it.
Yeah. You talked about your family. How do you feel going through this, knowing that, I mean, you've got 3 kids out here.
I think that's the hardest part, you know.
Don't worry, they'll be fine. Just put them in a new house.
I didn't have the pressure of high school like my kids have, or like kids today. You know, social media wasn't, we had MySpace when I was in high school, and phones didn't really have internet, so you couldn't check really anything at school. You'd have to go home and log on your computer and, you know,
Dial up.
You know, I would make a comment to a cute girl at school, and then I would have to go home to see if she sent me a message on MySpace. So you don't have I didn't have the pressure that they have today, on top of your dad being the cornerstone of the community,
Cornerstone of the community.
on top of everyone knows your family is very wealthy,
Dad's a scammer.
to then have that all collapse
Collapse.
and having your dad
Exposed is a better
probably
word.
the most famous person in Central Florida. It's a lot, and I feel for them. That's why my only
I don't know what you're referring to. Come on, Danny. You know what a 5K one is. Stop it. I don't even know what you're talking about. So don't put words in my mouth. Definitely going to be an American Greed if they still have a show. What are you talking about? Come on, Danny. Does anyone else know what a 5K one is? Stop it. Okay, so we would go back to your messages here. Easy magic. Okay, so what are you saying? So, Danny, you know better than anybody. Do you think, look, Dante, I believe it's you because the way you write. Do you think he's going to get the 5K one better from the government? 5K, is that a pardon? Is that what a pardon? I don't know what you're talking about at all. I can tell you some shocking news, though. If you go to my YouTube channel, you click on post, you come down here, you will see that this individual here actually got Bid Club. So Christopher Delgado walk free like alleged Bid Club network mastermind. So this guy ran a 700 plus scam, and he just got to walk away. Is that what you're referring to? I don't know. The other thing why we've got is here is victim speak out. Now, I did see a victim speech. Make sure when you see those, hit the thumbs up. It helps get them out. If you are going to write a victim statement report, we've given you a few suggestions on what you could do. And if you click down here, you'll get the link to the justice page. And when you do that, it's writing a victim impact statement. We talked about it yesterday briefly, and we'll just do it again today. But it's already filled out. So you want to go to my YouTube channel, click on post, and scroll down until you see this image here. Whoops, hold up. Where do we go? Screen's gone. There we go. That image there. Where's my mouse gone, Danny? There it is. And then you can basically fill out one of those victim statement reports. I often post quite a lot of stuff. There's another guy, Rory Conacher, just this morning I posted some stuff, and the videos that we're watching over the next 3 days are also already listed there. As you can see, I'm live, so it's pretty cool. Just telling you how it works. But anyway, I don't know. I want to talk proper. So what are you saying? I've been around for many fraudsters like him. They all really like him. They all have the same personality, same ego. You just know who the fraudsters are. Yeah, well, maybe you've been around more fraudsters than me, eh? How about that? But anyway, good on you. That's cool. So I'm just going to make that fit. What else have you got to say? Google it, Danny. All right, well, let's Google it together, eh? 4K, 5K. What is the 4K? Let's have a go. How are we? Judge. Okay, well, let's just do a little bit better than that. Let's go to Christopher Clive Ventures. Let's go here. And I have someone in my chat room at the moment telling me I should know what this means. Here's a couple of their messages. Maybe you could summarize them for me. All right, so let's do this. We'll go first one here. Let's just grab a few of your comments there. All right, we'll go to here, and I'll entertain you. Is that what you want? Want me to entertain me? Both of them. All right, where else have we got one? Right, let's see what it is. Let's see where else we got. I'm trying to find. Hold up, we've got problems now. 1 minute. I'm trying to scroll. Where else are we? Alrighty. So that should be enough. All right, educate me, ChatGPT. Alrighty, let's go. See what ChatGPT says it is, eh? All right. Shall we read it out loud so everyone can hear? Motion or something. Let's have a look. Let's read and reading out loud. Here we go. Let's see what we got. Maybe
What
we
they're
all get
talking
educated.
about is a pay 5K11 motion, often just called a 5K1 or 5K motion. It's one of the biggest incentives the US federal government has to encourage defendants to cooperate. Here's what it means in plain English. What is a 5K 1.1 motion? Under US Sentencing K 1.1, only the prosecution, the government, can file this motion. They're essentially telling the judge, open quote, the defendant has provided substantial assistance in investigating or prosecuting someone else. We recommend a sentence below the normal guideline range, close quote. The judge doesn't have to follow the recommendation, but judges usually give it significant weight. What counts as substantial assistance? Typically, the defendant must identify other participants, provide evidence, hand over documents, explain how the scheme operated, testify against co-conspirators if necessary, help recover assets or money. Simply pleading guilty is not enough. Could Christopher Delgado receive one? Based on everything we've followed in the Goliath investigation, it's certainly possible, but nobody outside the prosecution knows. Things people point to include his extensive interviews after his arrest, his guilty plea, the fact he has spoken about other individuals involved, ongoing investigations into others. However, unless the government files a 5K 1.1 motion, it's all speculation. What did the chatter about donations mean? When someone said, open quote, the government has taken back all the donations that he gave, close quote, they're probably referring to asset forfeiture or clawback actions. If donations, gifts, sponsorships, or charitable contributions were made using proceeds of fraud, a receiver or the government can sometimes seek to recover those funds for victims. That doesn't automatically mean every donation is being recovered. It depends on the legal circumstances. Why are people mentioning American Greed? They're referring to the TV series American Greed, which often covers major fraud and Ponzi scheme cases. Given the size of the alleged losses and the public profile of Goliath Ventures, some viewers think it has the kind of story that could eventually be featured. My take for your live stream. If someone asks, open quote, do you think Chris is getting a 5K1? Close quote, I'd answer, open quote, he could. A 5K1 motion is something only the US government can request
Here's your reply.
if they believe a defendant has provided substantial assistance. If prosecutors file one, the judge can reduce the sentence below the normal sentencing guidelines.
That helps.
At this stage, I haven't seen any public filing confirming one has been made, so anything beyond that is speculation. Close quote.
Brilliant.
That's the most accurate answer based on what is publicly known. As for your viewer saying, come on, Danny, you know what a 5K1 is, I just smile and say, open quote, I know what it is now, but I try not to pretend I know something unless I can verify it. That's how investigations stay credible. Close quote.
I know what it is now, but I try not to pretend I know something unless I can verify it. That's how investigations stay credible. All right, well, there you go. So, okay, well, that may happen, and we all hope it doesn't happen. But look, if Christopher's going to jail for 1 year, 10 minutes, I don't think he's going to last long in jail. And maybe that's you, Christopher, behind that name. But I still think it's Dante. You know. Anyway, let's go back, listen to the last of this. I'm not going to be here all day long. I'm going to have some time off soon. Got 10 minutes to go.
Priority has been to spend as much time as I can with them,
Oh,
to be with them, to
that's
have
right.
open communication with them, so they know that they're not going through this alone. You know, and like I said, we are very involved in a lot of schools. We are very involved in a lot of sporting activities.
Because you give them money.
So a lot of the families, a lot of the kids are grateful because of those opportunities. So it has made life easier for my kids.
Hi, Queen of Karma. Saw you there before.
Even though their dad has this dark cloud around them, they still kind of see the light and still thankful that someone stepped up and helped their school out, whether it's for uniforms or scoreboards or whatever it might be.
Yep.
You know, so they're
He gave
still
a ton to
grateful
the school.
for my family.
For his prestige, for his ego.
What do you fear most?
Danny DeHeck. Oh, cut that out. Cut that out. Don't say his name.
I fear missing them grow up.
Oh, where you going to, aren't you? You've ruined that idea. Surely you didn't think this out very good.
I fear not being there for their graduation.
Yeah, but I mean, this guy's claiming he's very intelligent and he up here in the school levels. I mean, he knew that he'd give it to all these charities and I'd have it claw back. Who wouldn't? Even I knew that, and I'm not educated. He probably bought all these assets knowing that they'll get repoed one day and they'll be able to collect the money back for the investors. I don't know, at what stage does Chris start believing himself so much that his head gets shoved up his own arse so far that he can't think? I mean, you know, like, what sort of individual was this? Did he not know what he was doing? Or did he actually buy into it and actually think he could keep this facade going along? I think he did. And now we're all meant to sit here and feel sorry for him?
I fear that my daughter's not going to have a strong man in her life to help her when she wants to date.
Well, hopefully she won't have a fraudster of a father shadowing her decisions.
And a protector.
Protect her from what? The repossession men. Yeah, thinking about it now. Going to wear that fancy suit to the courtroom, Chris?
I have always been there for my kids.
Have you really? You're just the man. You're the best father in the world.
I don't know what it's like to not be there for them.
Well, you're going to find out.
And they know that. They know I could be on the other side of the world, and if it's important, I will be here. And they can count on that.
Right.
And they always have. So the possibility of missing their graduations or their first girlfriends or their prom nights, I don't know if my kids are going to get married young like I did.
Yeah.
Missing that. Knowing that they can't count on their father kills me.
Hey, Queen. Nice to see you there. It kills them. I wonder how long it's going to last in jail, though.
Their graduation.
Very sad. I'm sorry for the kids as well.
I know you make me cry.
Oh, your old heart. Heart's pumping custard, Chris. Sorry, I'm so callous. But he's stolen everyone's money. I'm the one that's listening to all the investors who've lost all their money.
My family's always been my center.
Is that right? And you've gone through a divorce?
They want to say a lot of things online about me.
Yep, we do.
You know, did I have a lot of girlfriends? Yeah.
Eight.
You know, I got out of a very long marriage. I was with my wife at 17. I was married at 19. It's a very long relationship. I got out. I didn't know how to date.
Then yeah, you just buy them
I
stuff.
hadn't been dating in, 20 years, whatever, 15 years. So yeah, you date a lot of people.
8.
But you could go to every single one of those persons that had a relationship with me. My kids I didn't care what they had going on. I didn't care what the person I was dating had going on. If my kids had something, I was there. If I was on the other side of the world and they needed me there and they wanted me there,
You would fly.
there.
Like
Without any excuse.
Look, I'm going to be in 17 hours on Dubai trying to get my company going.
I'm flying 17 hours back from Dubai to make my son's baseball game.
Oh, you're a man.
Like, they are the absolute world.
Absolute world to him. It's not like any father, is it? All fathers might say that.
Are cooperating with the government?
My father disowned me a week before he died. Sorry, that's not funny. Well,
There's a lot more to this story.
no shit, Sherlock.
There's a lot more of involvement of other people. And there was a lot of people trying to take me down without me even knowing that were inside my company.
Oh, really? No.
And so I want them to see everything. I want them to know the truth.
And just to be clear, guys, I don't care about Chris at all. It's not a personal vendetta against me and Chris. It's never been that. It's actually the fact that they were getting investors who were cashing in their 401ks, the people that were mortgaging their house, maxing out their credit cards, putting their life savings into this. That's what we did it for. We believe that we have saved millions, people from losing millions more. And I wish more people listen to us. Even if I look like an idiot on the internet, I don't have a personal agenda about this. I'm here to help people. And we're still here today. Like, I've just done this amazing, there's a new scam that's coming out, and I've just done another big research on it. The guy who behind the company, I just want him to answer questions. And he said, I'm off to my lawyers. And I'm going, answer the frigging questions. If you're going to go out there and start up a company and offer investments to people, those days of trust me, bro, and doing business on a handshake are over. With the, with crypto terminology chucked in there, look at how well I'm doing. It means shit these days. And that's why if you go and look at my website and see those ebooks, they're all designed to help people who think they understand how to read a website. They think they understand how to research an individual. I mean, I knew nothing about Chris at all when I published my first article. All I knew is there was a company called Goliath Ventures that had a contract that said, if you give them this, they'll give you that. And the dumbest thing that Chris ever did in that contract is he put insurance on it for investors. How did that insurance work out for everybody? Your principal was insured if you invested in Goliath Ventures. Even I had never seen anyone offer an insurance policy. Batshit crazy. So, Christopher, this hard luck story, you're telling everyone you're the best burger maker in the world, the best father in the world, the best company in the world, the best everything in the world, is just bullshit. You're the best scammer, fraudster on the planet.
I was complimented on the first time I ever sat down with the DOJ on my candor.
Burger maker in the world.
And my cooperation.
No
Because
remorse.
there's more to this
Definitely,
than
man.
just Chris Delgado. My intention was always to right a wrong.
Right or
And to
wrong.
make sure that this thing
And then throw everyone
would
else
be
under the
fully
bus.
operational.
Brilliant. All class, Chris.
And so everyone, I think it's important that everyone sees the whole picture.
The whole picture. We've got most of the picture.
And everyone understands that, yes, I had the cars and the watches and the jewelry.
The 12 cars, 18 watches. Who the hell needs 18 Rolex watches when your company's going belly up? A $9 million Christmas
But
party.
that was never the goal and the intention.
What was your intention
I
with running a
had
$9
this life
million
and I did
Christmas
those things
party?
because of the people that pushed me to do those things. And I'm not playing victim, I'm not. But I never had a Rolls Royce on my mind. I never had a Rolex on my mind.
You got
I
one
never
now.
had
Well,
these
you have
things
one.
on my mind until they were brought to my attention by our investors.
Okay.
Until they were concerned.
Blame the
concerned
investors
about
that
the
you went out and bought a
contract.
Rolls Royce. Are you going to go with that?
They were concerned if I had a watch or not. I can't speak for others,
What the bullshit?
but I needed them to see everything. I needed them to see my intention, what is really important to me. And yes, it could have been easy to stay in Dubai and fight it.
I just, this is one of our heroes who at the event outside the courtroom when he went there last time. Listen to this.
There you go. I really love staying at Fountain Blue. It's beautiful. I love the fact that you put us up in a nice place. Yeah, you look scared. You should be.
Brilliant. Brilliant. That's the best video ever. He should be scared. He shouldn't be in front of the camera sitting here. This story's just sad.
from Dubai.
He knew what he was doing.
But I was never someone who ran away from challenges or from trials or tribulations. I always faced them head on. And if my family was going to get dragged in this, which they have, then I wanted my kids to see that their father was on the front line.
No accountability, that's what it
fighting for
says.
them. And not a coward running.
Justin, he's the man.
So I came here on my own terms. I self-surrendered my passport. I self-turned myself in. I was never arrested. I didn't have agents kicking down my door. No one raided my house. I self-surrendered. Went before the judge on my terms. Also, my kids can see that their dad isn't a coward. That he's going to fight for things that matter to him. And my kids are my world, and I will fight for them.
Why do you think the DOJ isn't looking at other people, or do you think they are?
I think some very powerful people
That's right.
who started this investigation
That's right.
just had their hindsights on me.
Ha ha! And you weren't running a scam, Chris. Were you running a scam or
maybe the
weren't you
goal
running a
was just
scam?
To focus.
I mean, what load of bullshit. So the reason the company fell over is because people had their sights on him and thought, oh, I don't want to be outbid at an auction, so let's take down Christopher. Is that where you want to go with, Chris? What a load of rubbish. You're running a scam. You couldn't pay your investors and you got exposed for doing so. It's not rocket science, Chris.
It's on me. And maybe they didn't think that.
Good reporting.
Maybe they thought that I would flee.
Flee.
So their only goal was to take down Chris.
Oh. Yeah.
But that's why I want my story told.
Okay.
Someone who had taken $3.5 million from my company, I thought was enough. I thought I had paid him enough money. 3.5.
That is friggin' absolutely batshit bullshit. He's talking about the price of real estate. Now, in tomorrow's video, you're going to hear him talking about how he paid $3.5 million. He actually paid $3.2 million for 189C Orange Avenue, which was the buildings that were owned by Mark James. Now, here, I don't know if it's this part of the video or another video, he claims that he got an independent realtor to work out the market rate that he should be paying, and he said it wasn't abnormal, nothing abnormal there at all. So he's paid $3.2 million, maybe some consulting fees in there as well, and he's claiming that he was held to ransom. And this is why this should have never actually gone on TV, because I know the real story, and this is bullshit. And this is why, you know, I reckon Channel 9 News are editing these videos, because this is Christopher, the same individual he's talking about, asked for Christopher to show him the books, and he didn't, because he couldn't, and he backed out of it. And now he's saying that he's held to ransom, and there's no proof of this. This is just Christopher pissing over everybody that he has brought. He's taken down everybody he can. And it's just watching this unfold is infuriating, because he should have not been able to get in front of a camera. All this interview is all about him trying to do the shit over everybody and blaming everyone else for his own actions. So I just, obviously, you know, and I can't take sides, and I'm not taking sides. I'm just saying that this is, I don't even know how to explain it, but this is
New
disgusting.
donation from Chris is batshit crazy.
Yeah, he certainly is. He certainly is. But this is just absolutely crap. And everyone's trying to point fingers. I mean, you know, it's just crazy. Thanks for the donation. Really appreciate it.
$1 million cash.
What in America you
I've
can
had
pay
messages
It doesn't make any difference how you pay for people. What did you want him to pay crypto, Chris?
saying, I have given you this money.
He did not give him the money. You got a bloody building. I've been inside that building, Chris. And you were claiming that you've even spoken to the architect and you were paying him, you were going to do a fit out of $5 million. And it wasn't going to be offices. It was going to be meeting rooms. So you could keep attracting investors. So you could keep the illusion alive. And no one come to you and said, give me $3.5 million. And you go, okay. And you paid it. You did pay it. So what did you pay the $3.5 million for? Because they were going to expose you. I mean, this is stupid. And the fact that he gets to say this on camera.
When's enough enough?
When's enough enough?
And there's always an excuse. Always this. I wanted this. I was promised this. We weren't promised anything.
He paid $3.2 million for an empty space. Thank you for reminding me, Suze.
So I think the crosshair was put on my back.
Oh, bullshit. Bullshit, Chris. Oh my God, are you going to go with that? You're a criminal. You're a fraudster. You don't need to take anyone else with you, Chris. And you can't. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. And I'll stand by what I've seen. I've seen nothing. This is just ridiculous.
Where this goes from here, where this goes in the future. But I think everyone needs to know the full picture. I think everyone needs to know my position. I think everyone needs to know how much I tried to protect the operation, how I tried to change things, how I was held not to change things, how I hired people to make things right. I was doing the best I could to build something that I saw had true impact. I didn't know I had people in my camp trying to take me down.
That's in your camp. What the load of bullshit, Chris. You wish you had them in your camp.
This is good for today.
You know, it really does absolutely annoy me because he's saying that he had that person in the camp. The person left the camp. They were, let's say they were in camp Goliath Ventures at the start. And the reason why they wanted that individual in their camp is because of the networks that he'd built up over his life. And Christopher was going after everybody. That he went after all the charities to get into the communities. Every single thing he did was his lifestyle marketing, was him parading around, trying to get himself inside all the communities. And that really is just batshit crazy, really it is. So this is interesting. I'm just changing topic here. Anyway, so that's that video over and done with. So Matthew Cox, yes, I am familiar with him, and I personally don't know if I would take up that opportunity because I've been watching this guy for a wee bit, and he just recently interviewed this guy.
Not so brave now, are you, lady?
Right, so the guy that we were talking about actually earlier on was this guy that was working for the FBI, so he claims, for 25 years. And this guy there, Tom. Now, Tom was interviewed by Goliath Ventures hero Tomo. And Tomo, and is it Tom something or other? So we reached out to Tom and we said to him, because Tom was talking about people that were running Ponzi schemes while he was being interviewed by Tomo. And this guy, if he's been interviewed by Matt Cox like he's a hero, this guy's not a hero. I'm not saying he's connected, we've done that wrong, but I don't like this guy. And I don't, I have nothing. Tom Simon, is it? Yeah. So, and he seems to frequent this channel. So yeah, I'm familiar with these guys. And I've seen some good interviews as well, but the fact that he's interviewed Tom Simons actually sort of berates me a little bit, because Tom Simons, we've had conversations with him, and he's.
I did the search on Edward Snowden's house. Kash Patel is the worst, and everyone's like, "What do you think of John Kiriakou?"
What are your thoughts on Kash Patel?
Kash Patel is the worst FBI director in the
He's probably right, but
in
said this last
in the
time.
125 years of the FBI.
But this guy, I don't think he deserves the airtime, and I don't want to be associated with this guy. So nice, but no, it don't get into it. So what have we got here? So today, obviously, if you want to know my 2 cents worth, is I just think this whole interview series is a shams. The reason why I started doing these interviews is because the 5 videos that they put on the internet, they've now taken them off the internet, and hopefully we'll just call it quits there for now today. But I just want to finish this video off. So thank you for being here, and thank you for the donations that we've got along the way, because I don't get paid for doing this. I'm doing a big investigation at the moment, and I'm going to give you a sneak preview of it, actually, if I can bring that up. 1 second, please, caller. And I'm just going to tell you what I get accused of all the time, and it sort of hurts my feeling. And I'm just going to show you one of my latest all posts. Where have I got here? All posts. Yeah, I'm just going to bring it up. Let's see if I can bring it up. Don't incriminate preview. So I am waiting for a right of reply. That's why we're not showing this here. But I can show you the image because I'm quite proud of the image. But we've just done we're just doing an investigation about a company who basically has glamping accommodation, and people can buy these glamping accommodations for a fee. And
New
then,
donation from someone.
oh, thank you very much, someone. I really appreciate it. So yeah, so basically you can buy these glamping places for a fee, and they'll give you like 50% or whatever it is return on your investment. The problem is either the guy's got too busy, hasn't been delivering the domes, and he's actually been paying out dividends, and then the people that have purchased the domes haven't got the domes, and there's no domes that exist. And we first of all thought it might be a disgruntled customer, but now we're getting inundated by people. So we're doing a big dive investigation into this, but I do love the picture. I think it's pretty cool. Anyway, so I've been corresponding with the company owner today. And the first thing I get when I get an investigation underway, it says, but I know who's paying you to do this. So somebody who I've asked 20 questions about their company. You know, this is what the people accuse me of, is I do this for money. I do this because I don't want people getting losing their money. Now, I've got 3 individuals who have invested around about just under $100,000. They have told me their personal circumstances, how they couldn't quite get enough money. They managed to, you know, squeeze money out of credit cards or other investments that they may have had, and they've actually put everything on the line, and they've lost everything, you know. So yeah, we actually did mention the victim statements. So this hurts me, but I've got to wait a couple more days before I hear back from the company owner. But this guy, going by what we've heard so far, we've got about $5 million worth of people's monies that hasn't seemed to gone in the right way. So we'll do an article on this, but this is a 20,000 word investigation. It's exhausting. So if you want to support the work that we do, just like somebody did before, buy us a cup of coffee. It all helps keeping it going. Now, with this investigation, which is really funny, now what I'm going to do, which is something really interesting, because I don't know if I finished off my investigation. I just need to finish this off. So I just need to say thanks for being here, and I'll see you in the next video. I'm Danny DeHeck and the Avengers.
Oh yeah. Hey Christopher. Thought the spotlight would last forever. Now the whole world's watching. Let's go. Walked in flashing all that gold. Thought the story would never get old. Private jets and designer shoes. Now it's breaking evening news. handcuffs go clink. Makes the whole room think. Ooh, that's the sound they bring. Crypto wallets leave a trail. Blockchains always tell the tale. Every transfer, every coin, now investigators join. Funny how the heroes hide when the paperwork arrives. Funny how the loudest crowd suddenly ain't talking loud. Ooh, hear those whispers growing. Everybody's nervous knowing what confessions start to change. Now they're wondering whose name. Every time that courtroom door swings wide, I hear blue lights flashing in my mind. Built an empire on borrowed time. Now you're running out of time. Yeah, the gavel goes bang. Hear the courtroom sing. Yeah, the headlines roll. Taking quite a toll. Ooh, who's the next to fold? No more penthouse celebrations, only legal conversations. No more selfies, no champagne, just another prison train. If the phones stop ringing now, who'll explain the why and how? Every promise has a cost. Every shortcut ends up lost. Hey Christopher, remember all those standing ovations? Now it's all rise.